Oh yeah, look, we just went live on Twitch.
All right, cool.
It still says we offline.
No, there it goes. There it goes.
Now we're online. Hey, and people are looking at us. Oh man, we're crops, dude. Oh no, we're not. No, we're not. That was you I had. All right.
It's not perfect. I told you.
It's Zoomception.
It's Zoom.
Oh, cool! With the little coffee mug up there.
I can move. I just put it there. I can move it.
I like it.
No, it's cool.
All right.
I like it. I like it. Next time it'll be the beans and bones.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, beans and crossbones. Well, shit. All right. Well, this is good. This will be a good intro with just us like coming in, bantering, going, "What the fuck is going on?" Mm-hmm. It's all fun stuff,
right? I don't know if we can do our fun like music intro though. I don't have a way of I don't have it queued up right this second on a way that it'll work.
Oh, for real?
I don't think so.
I wonder if I play it would just come through my mic if I played it.
Here, I got it. Add audio input capture. No. Add audio out. No input.
This is great.
If your audio is coming from like desktop audio in OBS, like whatever you play on a computer, it'll just hear it.
Yeah. So, here we go. I'll just pull that folder up and the light roast theme music. It's the new one, right? Theme instrumental.
Yes.
New
intro,
_ new
intro.
mix.
Something like
All
that.
right. I hope we don't get blasted here. We might. Hold on.
We might.
Fuck. Can you hear that?
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Light Roast. We're coming to you live through Zoom with some real interesting tech going on. I'm your host, Damian.
All right, you want to do it again? Now that we know it works.
Do we?
Why not? Fuck it. I mean, you're gonna edit it down for YouTube later anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Run it. Did you guys hear me?
yeah. But
I'll do it in post.
All right, dude. I don't know.
Welcome.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do it.
It's fine, dude. This is the first. Well, welcome to the first light roast that we've ever done through Zoom.
Yeah, we're doing it.
You couldn't tell.
We're glad you're here with us. I'm your host, Damian Turner.
I'm Jason Jones.
All right, we've said that 3 times, not 2.5 times. Hanging out with us is our very special guest, Gamemaster Herb from Three Bears Gaming.
Herb,
Thank
welcome.
you. Howdy. Welcome myself. Thank you.
Yes.
Nice to be here. I very much appreciate y'all having me on. I had a great time last week just being in the chat room, just like bouncing shit off the chat room, and y'all talked about stuff that was great. I'm Damian. I think you have very awesome energy, and I'm always excited to see whatever you're involved with. So, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, dude, we're happy to have you. That was a fun episode last week, having you on the chat, and of course we had already been talking about having you on. For people who don't know, Gamemaster Herb is part of Three Bears Gaming, which is another awesome channel on Twitch, and they do live art shows, they do gaming shows, they chat, they chill, and it's great energy. It's just a super cool community of just interesting, vibrant, creative, talented people, and it's a lot of fun. And also, he's a buddy of mine, and just good people. So we're real happy to have him on. Definitely go check out his channel, and I'm sure in the YouTube I'll put up a lower third or something. You know, there'll be a graphic. Imagine there's a graphic right here.
Cool.
Yeah, we all like to gather in fields and burn things down and sit around campfires and shit.
It's true. It's been way too long,
dude. It's been a while. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
So to make that clear, there's and we've talked about this on the show before, but if you guys have heard of Burning Man, right? The festival out in Black Rock City in Nevada in the desert, they have local versions of the event that happen for 4 or 5 days roughly in different areas, and the regional ones here, the main regional one here in Georgia is called Alchemy, and it is a party. It's like a 3,000 person party.
Yeah, we did 3,000 people one year. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now the place that they do it is the same land that they use to shoot the outdoor Wakanda scenes in Black Panther. So
nice.
we literally
Wakanda.
camp in Wakanda. That's where we hang
It's
out.
amazing, really.
Yeah, that's where we get down. Not enough Black people at the burn, considering that it is Wakanda. But there was more. There were more the last year that it happened than I'd ever seen by a lot, and that was pretty cool.
That's neat.
Yeah, there's this line between like, there's this fine. Well, I mean, we can speak freely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there's this line between like super close-minded podunk redneck and like people who are essentially sick of the city and want to like get away, who are open-minded, who are progressive, and we kind of all meet in the forest. But I think, yeah, like you said, like there aren't necessarily a ton of Black people that come, but over the course of like when I first met my hubby Lucas, like, from that point till like the last time we did Alchemy before pandemic, definitely more. It's getting more diverse. It's getting more open.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's wonderful to see, really.
And I understand too why that happens, and to be clear, for people who are new to this premise, it's intended to be an all-inclusive thing. One of the tenets or one of the principles of the burn is radical inclusivity, right? Which means everybody is welcome. So certainly, like, there's no one discouraging people of color from coming, but given that it's a hippie party, out in the wilderness, and it used to be we drove hour and a half, 2 hours to 2.5 hours away out, either near Alabama or up into North Georgia. And if you've heard the reputation of North Georgia, hoo boy.
Yeah, not good for hippies or Black folks.
No, and that's why we're not there anymore. It's because they didn't want us there. Except for the guy whose land it was.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
But
cool.
So it's one of those things, like, and there are other events similar to burns that, especially in Georgia, like I wouldn't go to. Like a lot of people who go to Alchemy go to Boogie, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm all right.
Oh yeah, Boogie. No,
Boogie's a hard no for me at this point.
Yeah, it's
no.
definitely. I mean, even before all the recent, stuff came out about the certain people that attend Boogie, like I've been to some of their, like I've been to like, what is it, like Moonshine Tavern, Moon Shadow Tavern, whatever it is up there, outside of the city, up in like Norcross, and I mean, it was cool. Nobody was mean to me, but it was definitely like a. Yeah, wait, this ain't really for you, know.
Right.
Right. As they play music, all inspired by Black folks.
Yes. Yes.
Totally.
Stolen from other people. Right.
Yeah. Crazy.
Have either of you been to like one of the rainbow gatherings? Those are kind of their own thing too. I understand.
Hell no.
No, but I was gonna say
it's like hella like ultra hippies, deep roots.
Right. I was gonna say like the fairy gatherings are also fairly similar, where it's like
yeah,
it is open, it is intended to be inclusive, but it's very hard to just go there and not see that there's like 24 exactly identical like skinny white dudes with tattoos and piercings who are like, we're free, and it's like, but you all look the same, so
right, y'all clones.
Right. And I say that as a white dude with tattoos and piercings. So, it's like, I think an important like component of any public conversation nowadays is like accountability, and just being like, hey, if you're one of these people who looks like people who are a problem, but you're not a problem, it's kind of up to you to like talk to your fucking people.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like go to them and have the tough talks. It's not just about like talking to your mom or talking to your brother. It's about talking to like the people that look like you. Even if you don't know them, even if you've never met them, they're still one of yours. You know what I mean? Like the straight folks are y'all's. Like, you know what I mean? I can't talk to them. I mean, I can, but like I can't really talk to the problematic ones and then have them hear me. They're not going to hear me because I'm not I'm not one of them. So it's like it doesn't translate. But other white folks will listen to me for sure.
Right.
That could be a whole topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and by the same token, like it's something that I take responsibility for as a quote unquote cis straight male. Like now, granted, if somebody needs to talk to the straight guys about their behavior, I'm probably not the one you want to send. But they're like, look at this F word over here, fucking telling us. I'm just please don't hit me. Actually, no, I'm not like, please don't hit me. I'm like, you'll go to the hospital with me, even though I'm tiny, because I'm crazy. So what do we want to do, guys? I feel like we've kind of made some introductions a little bit. Do we want to go right into coffee, or do we want to talk some news first? I mean, this conversation does kind of segue into the first story that we talked about talking about.
But whatever you want to do, I'm ready for some coffee at any point. So whatever. Why don't we do the coffee?
All Let's talk about coffee.
Okay.
All right.
Let me grab my stuff and I'll. All
right. Now, Herb, did you said you were a barista at some point?
I worked for Starbucks for 5 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know how. I will say that Starbucks. First of all, you get a lot of free stuff, even though. You get free stuff, and then you get a bunch of stuff where they're like, you have to pay for this, and I never fucking did, because fuck that shit. So you get free stuff, and then you get bonus free stuff that you just don't pay for, because who cares? All kinds of stuff. When you go, you get free food, you get those little things that you plug into your phone. It's like Square, and people can swipe cards with it, like as a vendor. Square. Yeah, we got those for free.
That's cool.
Just like all kinds of bullshit. And then, the benefits, sure, but the main reason that I kept working there was because the flexibility. You can just like have a day off and decide, I'm going to go on vacation to, Australia. And if there's a Starbucks there, you can just work. You can just pick up shift and like work there. And that was the reason why I think I stayed for so long, because I kept moving around the US, and it was just like, all right, well, I have a job wherever I go. I don't have to worry about like reapplying. I don't have to worry about like doing anything. It just, it just translates.
Yeah.
But all of that said, Starbucks is pretty shit. They definitely don't pay people enough. And the coffee is fine. It's not like, it's not the worst coffee ever. It's not chock full of nuts. It's not like, it's not like the cheapest one on the grocery aisle, but it's like not good. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all are more into coffee than I am, but I definitely had to learn about coffee for like 5 years. Yes.
Right.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, I became a coffee addict somewhere around 14, I want to say. So somewhere in that, I can point to exactly when it happened. It was when I went to high school and made goth friends, and there was nothing for us to do in suburban Virginia but go to Denny's, or the Denny's across the street from Denny's. right. And smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. And I was like, man, I really like this coffee stuff. And then, I was a barista at Starbucks also. So a partner.
Right. Oh, right. Yes. A partner. Yes.
Partner. Yeah. Because you own stock and
because it's family.
What? Because it's fucking family.
I just saw it. I literally, like, when I was loading up the stream to like host y'all, before I could do it, and it had like this ad, because Microsoft just bought Bethesda, and so they're like, now it's a family, and Master Chief is like, family, and it's like, shut up. It's like, stop, y'all. Just
Master
stop.
Chief is like family.
Right. It's like you look, do your business deals, do your willings and dealings, do your bullshit. Stop calling everything family. Stop trying to bamboozle everyone into thinking
the propaganda.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like enough.
Dude, that's oddly enough how I feel about, and this is going to sound so bad, that's how I feel about like some of the Black Lives Matter stuff, like just coming out of companies and shit.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, Black Lives Matter all fucking day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All fucking day long. I'm so glad that it's a refrain. I'm glad that everybody's saying it. Say what you will about the organization versus the movement or whatever. I'm definitely more movement, less organization, but I'm just glad it's happening.
True.
But like when I turn on like NBA 2K,
Oh, yeah.
Black Lives Matter, and we here at 2K, we want to establish that we
right. This whole spiel, and it's like just because I can't speak as for anybody black, but I can speak for like gay and queer. Like, it's just like actions speak louder than words. Just do it. You don't have to tell us that you're doing it.
Right.
Just do it. And we'll get that you're doing it just by what you're doing. You know?
Well, and it was such like a double-edged sword, right? Because on one hand, like that when that happened, when all of a sudden everything, every video game, every channel, when I turned on my smart TV, it's like Black Lives Matter. We here support Black Lives Matter.
Right.
It was this recognition of like, okay, so I don't believe that any of these people actually give a fuck.
Right.
But what I see is that they now recognize that they have to pretend to give a fuck to keep their money. And that is a good thing.
Right.
That is very important.
It's the same reason why the Pope all of a sudden last year was like, oh yeah, we're cool with gay people now. And it's like, sure you are, you know?
Right. Because you need those gay Christians. You need gay Christians.
When that came out, like I remember somebody asking me how I felt about it, and it was like, well, he better say that because there's no move left. It's a chessboard, right? What's the move? You don't have a move other than to be with it or you're gone, you know?
And besides, if you're in the public eye and you alienate the gay community, that's how you end up with hair like Tucker Carlson.
Right.
Old Tuck.
No one's doing your hair and makeup, boo-boo. No one's doing it.
Faces of racism, man. Tucker Carlson.
Oh God.
Jesus Christ.
But
yeah, so I think just, speaking of coffee, I think Starbucks we have to talk about Starbucks if you talk about coffee because they're the biggest coffee chain, coffee distributor or whatever ever.
I literally say in the theme song, I don't fuck with Starbucks, but here's some Starbucks right here just to prove that I'm a big, giant fucking hypocrite.
What is your favorite? If you had to pick out of all their like just okay coffees, what is the best? What is the best Starbucks coffee?
Like out of their drip coffees like that they sell and stuff, or Starbucks
like bags of coffee. Like what is their best one? For me, it's either Casi Cielo or it's I forget now because it's been so long. It's been like 4 years since I quit, and so like slowly but surely, all the information that was dug into my brain is like getting off finally.
I just recently forgot how to call.
Is slipping.
Yeah.
That used to be my favorite thing, is just to like, on the rare occasions when I do find myself in a Starbucks, every so often it happens, but I would just love to go in there and call correctly and then just start like running the line from like the other just to fuck with the people there. And they're kind of like, ha ha ha, cut it out. I'm over there at the counter talking about like, can I call tall with
right. No, yeah, same thing. Every time I go into one and they're slow, I'm like, y'all, do I need to come back there? Because I can run this shit real quick if you need me to. Like,
I'm like, partner, do we need to call a manager from another store? Is that what needs to happen?
Yep.
Have you done your lobby slide? When's the last time you did a lobby slide?
Dude, I was a valet for a long time, and I had the impulse to do that every once in a while. I'd go out to a place, and I got there a little early. Maybe I'm like really not wanting to go hang out inside wherever the fucking place. And I'm like, man, the valets could use my help right now, man. If I just jump in a couple cars, move them around.
Oh, dude.
That's such a fucking liability issue.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not for me, for them. Not for me.
Your problem.
I'm a customer.
Oh man, I was saying. Oh yeah. I would say probably the Casa Cielo was one of my favorite ones, to answer your question.
Yeah, that seems to be like kind of like the secret like forbidden blend, like because it only comes out every now and then, but it legitimately, compared to their other stuff, does taste good.
It's probably the only coffee they have that they don't steal from Ethiopia.
Right.
Or no, sorry, not Ethiopia. That would actually those would be good coffee beans. They steal it from Somalia.
Right.
I'm really getting the feeling that like Ethiopia might be one of the places they can't afford to get their beans from.
Yeah, well, that's how their whole business model sprung up in the first place. And I think we've told this story on the podcast before too. Is that when they started out, they found out that there were these coffee fields in Somalia that weren't owned or regulated by anybody.
Yeah,
so they could just go take them and set up a militia around them and be like, "Fuck you, try and steal it. It's ours now." And that's it. And that's how Starbucks became a friendly household name.
That's how they started them bucks. Yep.
Colonialism.
That's how they started them bucks. Is by violence against Africa.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
There's a great meme out there that shows it's like 2 slides, and the first slide is like white slave owners and then black folks picking cotton in the field, like in the background, but in the same image. And then the one right below it is nearly the exact same image, but it's white people drinking coffee in Starbucks, while the picture on the wall behind them in the Starbucks shows brown people picking the coffee beans. And it's like, oh my God, how did we get here? Oh wait, we got here because nobody said enough.
No, it's because we never left here.
Yeah, we never left here. Yes.
Like that was what was like really irritating me during Trump's presidency, right? It's just like, is everybody going, oh my God, America's becoming racist again?
It's like, no,
it's not. Like, it just never stopped being racist in the first place.
The hood is just getting ripped off again. Look, another hood.
Have you heard about this? The police are killing black people.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right. The thing, I'm not trying to make light of this because it's really terrible, but I think at a certain point, you kind of have to laugh. And like the thing in Colorado last week, right? There were shooters, and this white dude's on the news, and he's like, I just don't know where anywhere's safe anymore. I'm like, bro, have you lived in your life ever? What are you talking about? You don't know where it's safe anymore. Oh my God,
Yeah,
and that was a white person. That was a white person.
Talk about
yeah. In Colorado, of course, which is like, well, of course you're safe over there, until some other white guy goes and shoots up the place. It's like, wow,
right. Yeah.
Welcome to how black people have felt for, eons.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like I love bringing this up. This Roy Jones Jr. joke where he talks about how there's only like certain places, he's talking about how you don't hear like patriotic songs written by black people. You just don't hear them.
Right.
Get specific place, like you get like Georgia on My Mind, but you don't just get like America, except for James Brown when he did Living in America. He's like, but if you listen to that song at the end, he starts going, living in America, like Detroit City, New York, Atlanta. Like he's just naming all the places that are safe for black people to go.
Yeah, for real.
That shit is true too, man. There's like certain places that we all know, like don't go over there.
Yeah. Sundown states, baby. What is it? Sundown states and sundown towns is what they call it.
Yeah. Sundown.
Wow.
Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, is it?
Like basically, you don't want to be there unless you're
counties or something like that.
Yeah, you don't want to be there unless you're white and obviously very hetero. Like you must flag hetero or be shot. Those are the choices.
Yeah, it's a purge state.
Yep.
It's a purge state.
A purge state. Yeah.
After dark, anything's cool. Like they go through the purge every night after dark.
Yeah. Anything's cool except for dick sucking. We don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that.
I'm with you though. I think when like it really is a double-edged sword. There's 2 ways to look at the whole like performative sort of activism. Like you could say, like for instance, in my profile right on Instagram, I have BLM because I want people to know that if you're going to come around me, like it's not even really for black people to see it and know that I'm on your side or something.
Yes.
People that know me already fucking know where I'm at. It's really for the white people that like, and Jason, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. When you're around, often as a white person, when you're around other white people who are like about to say some racist shit, they will do it with this kind of wink in their eye. Like, well, we're both white though. So like, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, yeah. And it's like when you put BLM somewhere, they know immediately, oh, okay, well, I guess he's not one of us.
Yeah,
you know?
they walk around with this little bag of dog whistles in their pocket, and they try a few out around you every once in a while. And depending on if you bite or if you perk up or depending on how you respond to some of those dog whistles, they've learned whether or not you're like one of them or not.
Yep.
It's getting pretty nuanced.
And you know that they wouldn't say any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like in any other circumstance, but because it's like, because I look this way and because you look similarly, we must be on the same page, right? And it's like,
yeah, I'm realizing that I'm getting exhausted, wasting so much time and energy on some of those people, even though I know that that's a good effort. If somebody wants to do that, is to try to like talk to those folks, but I'm ready to just like write it like you are, like write it on your headline, like write it on the fucking shirt, write it on your in the title of your profile, because you want people to know right away that that's where you stand, because I'm just tired of fucking getting into it and then thinking that them thinking I'm on their side, and then going through that whole fucking horribly awkward and like it's just a I don't know. It's not awkward. That's not even important. It's I don't know. I just don't want to fucking deal with those people anymore, to be honest.
Yeah. That's exactly why, like, Three Bears Gaming, like, that's why it's Three Bears Gaming with a Y, because that way, if you come into our channel, there's no fucking question, you know, you're here and, like, there's queer people involved. It's not, there's no question. There's no, like, oh, are they roommates? No, bitch, we gay, and it's in the fucking name. Get used to it. Like,
no, we fucking.
We fucking. Are you guys brothers? Right.
So, okay, you know what's crazy though is that same thing you just described. White people do that to me sometimes.
Right.
Oh, like no. They're like, oh, you're cool though. You're one of the cool.
Dude, half the white people don't even think you're black.
Dude, half black people don't even think I'm black. That's the real fucked up.
Wow.
Right.
They talk about, is you all the way black though? And I'm like, what is all the way black? Like, what we had other cultures raped into us generations ago. Like, we're all mixed. No, almost no American black person that isn't an immigrant from the last couple of generations is, you know, mostly or all, you know, 100% African descent.
Right. And at the end of the day, like, you present, that's the word, you present black. It doesn't matter if somebody saw you, you know, from a security camera or someone walking down the street next to you or someone in line next to you somewhere, you appear black. So whether or not you have this percentage of it in you or that percentage of it in you, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they still don't want you to vote because of the way you look. You know?
Right. Yeah. And you know, what I've told people, even like, you know, black people, and they kind of give me that garbage of like, but you're not, but you ain't really black though. You know, you ain't really black. And I go, okay, that's cool. Can you tell the police, please?
Right.
Because they don't get it. They still treat me same as they treat you.
Yep.
And you know, I've never been a proponent of that the racial purity thing. I understand how some people of color have kind of gotten into that of like, oh, you're there because there's this narrative of like, you can't be pro-black if you date outside the race, or you can't be pro-black if you're mixed race or biracial, and you know, I don't get that. I don't see that. You know, I have
is pro-black different than amateur black?
I don't
know.
Right, like there's all these like, you know, like there's this fucking checklist that you have to check in order to, you know,
to validate yourself.
To validate yourself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like right. And similarly, although it's, I mean, just to be clear, I definitely don't know that experience, but similarly, I've always been kind of on this line of straight and gay. I look like a dude, quote unquote. I talk like a dude. Yes. So like the gay people are like, wait, you listen to hip hop and play fighting games? Like you're not, excuse me, honey. Like you're not gay enough for us.
Right.
Yes.
Like, oh, you don't watch Drag Race? Oh, you're not gay enough for us. Right. And then the straight guys are like, oh, you're too emotional. You're too sensitive for us. You know, like what's with all this gay shit, you know? And so it's like, you just never, you can never find a spot, you know?
I've gotten the same thing from straight women.
Yeah, really?
You know?
I can very much identify with that, Herb, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I very clearly do not identify as straight. I am like cis male presenting, but I don't identify as straight. And then so I don't even know what the word is. That, I mean, people are starting to use like heteroflexible or like like things like that, and I'm just like, if that works for you, okay, cool.
Right.
But so I'm detecting a little bit of an aggression coming from the gay community. I'm detecting the aggression coming from the straight community, and yeah, a lot like you were saying, like, I'm a little too supportive of my wife and her, and we're a little too equal for me to be full straight cis, get that kind of support from people, like they're more patriarchal and more like father knows best, and that's just not, it's not our dynamics.
Right.
And we I'm much more comfortable in an intimate space with my male friends and things like that. So I have no idea how to fucking identify right now, for sure.
Yeah. I was kind of saying the same thing that last episode, and it just seems like everyone is so eager to put you in a box now, regardless of what you are and how you identify. And there's a lot of shades and sides to that, because there definitely is, and Herb and I talked about this at length actually after the show, also. And there's definitely such a benefit in raising visibility and in just entering ideas into the lexicon, because some people are really separated from it and just have this very like concrete worldview. Like I remember having a conversation with my dad and one of my brothers one time, and we're talking about gender images and media and sexual orientation and all that stuff. And one of them was like, I don't have a problem with homosexuality. I just wish they wouldn't put it all over the TV like it's normal and okay. And I'm like, what? Right. Then you have a problem with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, so there's that side of it, but then there's also like I didn't quite get to this last time, but we were talking briefly about Eddie Izzard and how there was like this huge story about how Eddie Izzard had completely transitioned female and they only wanted to be known as female and they're a girl now and blah, 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 blah. And now they're trans and, before they were a transvestite, but now they're transgender. And then like a couple weeks later, Eddie Izzard was like, whoa. Like, let me clear all of this up. I've always been trans. I used to say transvestite because it was just it was the 80s and that was the word then. And I was just doing the clothes and right. Makeup. So, okay, transvestite, but I've always been transgender. I very much encompass both genders. I still do. I was merely answering a question where I said that I'm going more into girl mode now and letting her have more time in the spotlight. Whereas previously it was dominated by boy mode. But then they were saying, but then recently, it was like, as soon as I said that, it turned into this concrete thing. And then recently I had a role where I played a male. So I went male and I figured, well, I'm in boy mode now and I'll identify as male. And then that suddenly wasn't okay with people. They were like, well, no, you're a girl now. And it's like, well, no, I'm me. I'm Eddie. Right?
Yeah. They're just human. And sometimes, some days you wake up and you feel like putting on a dress, and other days you wake up and feel like putting on a tank top or whatever. I mean, it's it's like people get so hung up on. It's so funny that like the only true constant in life is change. Yet every human being has like the most difficult time dealing with that simple fact. But it's true. Every day we wake up, we feel differently. Some days people, you can even tell in my streams, some streams I will get on and I just am feeling and sounding without even realizing it, like subconsciously more butch, like more like, yo, right? And then other days,
too. Yeah.
And then other days I'm kind of like sensitive and I'm like, how are you today? And I sound like I'm, gonna drop like a mood album or something, like I'm gonna ask you about your sign and, and that's fine. Both are valid. You can be both at once. You can be all at once. You can be none at once. It's okay.
Right.
Totally. And that's like, what I found was the comfortable space for me was somewhere in between. And, and it kind of oscillates some days. And sometimes I've got on like sheer tops and tight pants and, and that's just what I feel like, or, I'll wear girls pants or girls tops or whatever fits. And that used to be a thing of mine where like, and I kind of delighted in this too, is I would like wear entire outfits that were women's clothing, but nobody could tell the difference. Like these are all women. We're like, really? But you look so tough though. And I'm like, right, you know.
That was one of the just a little backstory, but Damian, we met for the first time just at like a burn. I think Lucas was kind of I was a baby burner, right? So Lucas brought me and kind of introduced me to various people. We'd walk around, we talked to different people, whatever. And I remember meeting you, and you immediately reminded me of a friend I used to have when I lived in Ohio. Y'all have like y'all have the same tone in your voice and also the same hair somehow. I don't know how my friend made like y'all are right on. And I just remember thinking like I should get to know them, because you just didn't seem like you were in a box. That's what it is. You didn't seem like you were in a box at all with anything, with music, with interests, with gender presentation. You just seemed like a person, a unique person. You did not seem like a dude or a girl or whatever,
Can confirm.
Yeah. And that was really nice. That was really like, okay, all right, maybe, because you go to a burn and you don't know what to expect. And like you said, it is predominantly white. And, for as far, you don't know, but as far as I knew, everyone that they were straight or whatever, who knew, who knows?
Yeah.
So when you meet people there who just kind of don't immediately flag as something, and it's sort of just up in the air, that's really satisfying. It's really satisfying. It's really, really enlightening. It feels like, okay, all right, maybe I don't have to, maybe when I'm here, this can be a special space where I can just be like a Homo sapien, and that's it.
Where you don't have to pin it down for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of in that mode on all fronts. Like if you notice, which probably nobody has, but like, for example, like, I've been with Coco going on 7 years. In October, it'll be 7 years. And our relationship started at Alchemy, also started at a burn.
Awesome.
Me and Melissa did too, almost 7 years ago. Yeah.
The same year. Yeah.
Wow. Yay.
Yeah.
It was the same burn.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember watching you guys meet and happen. Yeah.
You hear that, kids? Go to a burn and you'll find your true soulmate. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come correct. You got to come ready to and open and available and like in the right space. It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
Totally.
You can't go to the burn with like a city mindset. You have to go to the burn with an open mindset,
dude,
because you don't know what's going to happen.
I went to the burns my first fucking 5 or 6 years of burning, and didn't have sex at a burn once, like for the first 5 or 6 years. I just wasn't connecting with people that way, I knew it was the right place for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a segue. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, I was just saying on the previous point that we've been together almost 7 years. We're attached to the hip. Everything is great. we don't fight. We do everything together. We like all the same stuff. Neither one of us has a relationship status posted.
Yeah.
Like we don't have it listed as single. We just don't have it listed. We just don't.
Oh my god.
Do it. And it's like, whatever. Like I don't know. It's like, I just don't need like, hey guys, guess what?
Right.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Official.
Like, I don't care. Yeah, I know. Right.
And that's also that, just like the whole, like, we're with BLM thing, publicly, I think that is also, there's different ways to look at it. Some people want to be like, for instance, in my profile, I just say I'm poly. That's it.
Sure.
And people sometimes have been like, well, why do you feel the need to say that? And I'm like, well, one, because polyamory gets like a really bad rap by a lot of people who don't understand it.
Yes.
Right.
And also I'm also very proud of my partners. I'm proud to be with them. I'm proud to show them off. They're not trophies. They're not things. I'm proud of them as humans that wish to be near me.
Totally.
That can stand me for this long.
And that's a kind of thing that makes sense to me, and like and not that everything has to, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't all have to, like, well, I don't get that, so therefore, but that makes sense to me in like almost a utilitarian kind of way, right? Because this has been something that I've been like just batting around this idea in a silly way, right? Although a little critical. It's just that I feel like there's a thing with especially really young people right now where they've just got to broadcast every single tiny minute detail of
and change,
of their identity. And I'm just kind of like, yo, you guys, like, you're going to find out eventually you don't want everybody to know everything, like some stuff is good right here. And some of that is like, like see posts from like an 18-year-old kid that's like, my dad is mad at me because I'm a botanist sexual or something. And it's like, yeah, did you need to show your dad a picture of you fucking plants? Like, did you have to? Like, was that necessary? What did you gain from that? Like, what did or did you just freak him out and then like make life harder on yourself? I'd just fuck plants in private if I fucked plants. That's just something I would just do on my own. But polyamory, especially like in your situation, like you're in a throuple, that's like a noticeable lifestyle thing. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's a difference between having to hide how you live, like for the sake of other people. Like, no, that I get. Like, hey everybody, just so you know, let's just get it out of the way. I'm polyamorous. You're going to see 2 partners with me. That's how we do it. That's how we get down. Just to answer all of your questions that I get to right now. I'm polyamorous, like it or don't like it. Yeah,
it does kind of get that out of the way, because then people are like, oh, your boyfriend. And I'm like, well, actually, I have 2 partners. I call them husbands, even though we're not technically married, but I also don't give a fuck about legality. So we're married, whether people know it or not. But yeah, no, exactly. It's just like the 3 Bears Gaming thing. It kind of gets that out of the way first so that we don't have to talk about it, because it's already on the profile. It's just like, oh, did you read? Okay. All right. Well, I'm not discussing it.
Right. Exactly.
But I will say, to your point, I think there is extreme power in feeling comfortable with your identity or your choices. And we all grew up, we're all in our 30s. We all grew up at least remembering a snippet of time before the internet. I was probably, I guess, 10 when the internet became a thing. And I feel 2 ways about that. I feel like, to an extent, why does everyone need to know? Yes, I'm very much a private person in that way, but the difference lies with, like, for instance, fucking a plant is probably not going to get you in jail, is probably not going to remove your healthcare rights, is probably not going to get you shot in the street. So when it comes to things that's
exactly what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to like shit like that, if you identify as trans, if you are proud to be trans, if you're proud to be Black, if you are proud to be a woman, if you're proud to be whatever, and you want to put that out there because it makes you feel stronger, have at it. Totally. But also, like you said, if it's like a 17, 18-year-old kid, and I've talked about this many times on stream, I'm kind of like survival first. Okay, right. If coming out as gay or whatever is going to get you kicked out of the house, or your dad's going to beat you, or your mom's going to fucking stab you, or some craziness, because that happens in this world, then do not share it and wait until you're financially stable. Wait until you move out and live with roommates, and then say what you need to say.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's the part for me with any fight for rights, right? So first of all, like to credit your point, I totally agree that like. You got to be able to own who you are, and no one should have to hide who they are, or what inclinations they have, how they live their life. No one should have to hide that from anybody.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, but with any struggle, especially against an established order or or an institutional mechanism. I think it's important to be smart and make calculated movements. And, I think that we may have stepped back from some of that in everybody's desire to be seen and heard, which I get. That's again valuable. But like, I mean, I was saying it during the during the George Floyd protests when they first popped off, and some of the coverage was really pushing this narrative of, oh, there's so much violence and there's explosions and there's this and that. And at the same time as that was going on, then there was this kind of this it just seemed like there was this ramping up of energy of everybody's just like, I saw people online like, if you're not going out there and you're not doing this, then you're not blah, 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 and you better let everybody know. And I'm like, okay, but what's that for? Is that like to be seen there, or is that to accomplish something? Like when people blew up CNN, I jokingly tweeted, y'all, there's a Fox like right down the road. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like what, like let's strategically pick target. Okay, cool. So we're out in the street and we're yelling and we're screaming and we're chanting and we're throwing stuff. And okay. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the attention of the, okay. So once we get it, then what? Then what do we want? Do we have a list of demands made? No. Right. Okay. Well, we should definitely have that. Like,
Yeah. And it also feels like sometimes people are very quick to, and I've done this myself. Sometimes we're very quick to sort of, bark at our kind of like our own side and the flaws in it and the cracks in it, as opposed to barking at the actual like enemy. Like for instance, Fox is beyond redemption, right? CNN does a lot of bullshit. Definitely has a lot of white people in places where black people should be. Definitely has a lot of straight people where queer people should be. But they generally have a more objective view. Fox is straight up like evil.
That's right.
But then. And it feels like if we're just not wasting, but if we're spending all of our time and energy barking at how CNN isn't perfect, it's kind of like, look, Fox is over there on fire. It's in a blaze. Yeah. CNN has like, there's a lighter under it, like there's a couple parts that are a little smoldering or whatever, but Fox is like literally ablaze. So why don't we put that shit out first before we start eating our own?
Totally.
Yeah. The infighting and eating our own is where I'm seeing a lot of that go on. And I don't, it's a good idea to keep raising the bar with each other. Like, hey, let's have a nuanced conversation. Let's keep raising the bar. Cool. But like, man, it's like starts feeling like crabs in a bucket, It's just fucking pulling each other down, and you're all just fucking crabs in a bucket, not really focusing on the right way to get together and get out of the fucking situation.
Yeah. And division is what consistently over the entire course of America has sort of perpetuated all the negative things about America, is that we just can't agree. Even when we agree, we can't agree.
Yeah.
Do you mind if Pulaski here in the chat asks something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
that's Jim. He's a longtime viewer.
Okay, so Jim says, why does everyone have to introduce themselves and include their sexual gender preference? Unless I plan to get in the sack with you, I don't care. Okay, I would love to answer that.
Great, I would love that.
Please do.
First of all, I hear you, because it probably gets kind of like, why does everyone need to know this? But I'm going to assume that you're straight. I may not know this for sure, but I'm going to assume that you're straight. And remember, you may not care, but I'm going to tell you why you don't care. You don't care because no one's killing you over it. It's that simple. You don't care because you can go to the doctor and get like fucking whatever. You can adopt a kid. You can give blood. I can't give blood. If I tell people I fuck dudes in the ass, I can't get blood.
That's right.
That's it. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. So that's but to be a little less harsh than that, remember, not everyone feels as comfortable as you do with themselves. And in a world where we are encouraged where everything is straight, it is. Every movie, every video game, every song is about a guy and a girl, fairy tale, Disney movie, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And, that's changing, right? Steven Universe, big time, huge change for that, in as far as kids entertainment goes. But the point is, like, you may not care. You don't have to care. But for someone else, they've spent, like, just listen to Lil Nas X. For someone else, they've just spent 18 years hating themselves, taking pills, holding the gun to their head, rethinking it, not doing it, being told they're going to hell, being told they're evil. And so, like, for them, it is empowering to be like, hey, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. It may seem like TMI to you, and maybe it is TMI, but... Yeah. It's kind of like, it's like, okay, the whole thing with let me think real quick, with the Cuomo, right? All these women coming out of nowhere to be like, me too. Oh yeah, he assaulted me. Oh yeah, he said this shit. He said that shit. Yeah. And it's kind of like, maybe maybe it got overblown. Maybe he didn't do anything that bad. But the point is, men have been oppressing women since the beginning of time. So if a couple men have to be casualties in the uprising of women, you know what? Who fucking cares? Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. Another white dude lost his job because women actually stood up for themselves and have the platform and the power to now do something about it. I mean, it sucks. Maybe he is innocent, but I'm kind of like more inclined to. You always want to lean into the most marginalized. So, you know, if a black person, right, exactly. If a black person is telling you some shit is going on against black people, just hear them. If a trans person is saying like some shit is going on and they're trying to kill me, just fucking take it as truth, because they have no incentive to make it up. Why would they make it up? It's happening, you know?
Now here's an important distinction I think to make, though. And I think this is part of what I think there's something legitimate that is rubbing people outside of the culture the wrong way and kind of pushing people inside the culture in an opposing direction, and that's really what concerns me, and it's what concerns me about the restriction of language and open discourse. Granted, that comes from a good place. Sorry, my screen is shaking there. That comes from a good place, right? There's a reason we stop using certain words. I'm glad that the F word is no longer an acceptable common part of speech. Like, however. Right. So this is a good example. I've been, screamed out of rooms for using it in an artistic context, and B, the context of having that word weaponized against me. And I'm I'm going, hey man, sorry, but in middle and high school, my nickname was I didn't want it to be. But that's just what people shouted at me down the hall before they chased after me and tried to jump me. So Same. I get to say it in that context, right? It's not me, because I feel like in order to solve a problem, we have to confront it. And there's a Rick James song where he's that's Ghetto Life. He's talking about growing up in the ghetto. And there's a line where he says, they called me a faggot. I think the line should be that, because they didn't call him the F word. They called him the word, right. And I feel like it's important to communicate the feeling of that. That's what art is supposed to do. Put you in the shoes of somebody else, grow empathy and understanding, share experiences. But I digress, right? I think what's happening is similar to what we were talking about with the BLM movement, right? Where there is a social push for change and a social public grassroots push for change. Mm-hmm. And then immediately you get politicians, advertisers, lobbyists, think tanks, whatever groups that are all want to be on board. And they want to be on board not to serve the narrative, I think, but to manipulate it in their best interests. And I feel like there are those forces and also unstable people who are easily swayed, I think. But there are those forces that I feel are pushing the conversation into this very limited, buzzword heavy, hostile, aggressive kind of tone. And it's pushing away people like who are coming from a place similar to Jim of going like, well, I don't understand this. And the movement feels aggressive and overwhelming. And, and then the people in the movement are going, well, stop calling the movement aggressive and overwhelming. That's not the movement. That's you. And I'm going, well, I think that's this intermediary. I think that's this thing now that governs all of our interaction, right? Everything through social media, everything through platforms, everything through advertisers. All of our interactions are mediated now. So we've got people pushing our hot buttons to piss us off, so we keep clicking on them and giving them our data and our money. And in the meantime, what it's doing is it's watering down our very real and valid social movements and pitting us against each other instead of working together to get things done. That worries me.
Yeah, I think that's real. I think it's very. First of all, it's I mean, everyone's saying normalize now, right? But normalize taking a break. Somebody recently told me, a friend of mine who's black and straight, he was like, I and many people like me, in other words, other straight dudes, many of us want to listen and want to understand, but sometimes, he's like, I'm not saying it's right, but if someone comes at you fucking angry, yelling, blah, 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 accept me or else, he's like, should I probably hear it? Yes. But am I going to in that moment? Probably not.
Yes.
Right. So he's like, if you need to tag, he termed it like, if you need to tag out, it's like a wrestling match. If you need to tag out and tag your friend in who's like real calm and he just got 8 hours of sleep and he had his water and his coffee and he's good, tag him out. All right. And then somebody else talk for a minute, because if you're real angry and you're real all over it and just fed up, it's not that you're invalid for doing that or for feeling that way at all. At all. Trans people, black people should be fucking angry. They have every right.
And it's also that's also appropriate to say, like, hey, some people are staying home today from the protests because they have to take care of themselves. They can't be out there marching the streets. Sometimes, Damian, I think I remember you saying this, like, I'm sitting this one out. I have to do self-care. I can't stress myself out to go out and be a part of this, even though I really want to. I have to put the oxygen mask on myself first before I can help or do anything for others.
It's so true. It's so true.
It was partly that. It was a lot of factors, but definitely partly that.
And that's not saying like everyone go rest.
Yeah, we were just
everyone
talking about
go
this
to sleep
in the past about.
Yeah. Just about talking about that in general. I mean, certainly. Well, I was going to say, in that same period, I had to take a step back, man. Because I'm not just a black guy. I'm the black guy, right? Yeah. So that puts me in a real.
Now, wait. So explain that, because I'm sure somebody listening does not know what you mean.
What that means is I grew up and was socialized around predominantly white people in a predominantly white area and culture.
So you're the token.
Just outside of DC, I was token. I was token black at the school. Except I wasn't rich. That was this other kid.
that's a fact.
But there were like, seriously, I mean, there were like 4 of us in my grade, I think, in my elementary school, and one of them was the good Negro. He really was token. Rich kid, but parents were doctors, and he kind of he was non-threatening and he was nerdy, and so they kind of let him have a pass.
Right.
But I'll tell you, there was always this air of like condescension toward him. They made fun of his weight. They made fun of him for being nerdy. But as long as he never got mad, well, it's cool. We can just continue abusing you, and that's just fine.
Right.
Then there was the kid who was the stereotypical black kid whose family wasn't quite as well off as mine, and he did all the stereotypical things that they expected him to do, and he was a big joke, and they all laughed, ha 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 ha, look at the funny nigger. I was something different. I was raised by a family who finds professionalism important. I'm the 3rd generation of my family to go to college, although the 1st and 2nd generations literally attended college together. My mom and grandma went to the same college at the same time.
That's amazing.
Yeah. My grandmother's bad, bro. My grandmother got married at 16, had my mom at 17, and my uncles at 20, right?
Wow.
19. Yeah. She had my uncles at 19. Then her husband died when she was 21. Wow. And she was in Detroit in the 60s by herself and was like one of the first women to work in a steel mill. And then she worked IT for the government. She built me my first computer when I was like 10 in 95. Whose grandmother built them a computer in the 90s?
Wow.
Right.
But so anyway, so I come from that background. So, my mom raised me in Northern Virginia outside of DC and taught me that it was important to speak with she taught me that we exist in a white world, and that my success as an individual depends upon my ability to, if not entirely assimilate, at very least be palatable when it's necessary. And what that resulted in was kind of just me being socialized to, speak and behave a way that's more commonly associated with whiteness. But let me tell you, I mean, that's not, anybody who knows me knows that's not the full story. As my black friends would put it, oh no, you still black than a motherfucker. You got the Negro tendencies, dog. But so when I say I'm the black guy, I mean, yeah. So by the time I got to middle school, and I got bussed because in Northern Virginia they do the school district lines according to tax bracket.
Go figure.
Racist. And so
just another
all
red
the poor
line.
kids got bussed half an hour away into Falls Church, closer to DC, and all of a sudden, my school's got a few hundred black kids instead of like 20, right? And they all decided right away, no, you ain't one of us. You don't sound like us. You don't look like us, and this and that. This is before I'd really discovered rock music. But so then I just hung out with whoever would take me, and that turned out to be the Freaks, which mixed group, but predominantly white. Yeah. And then that so my culture became subculture, and I had to find a way to express and identify my gender identity, my racial identity, all kind of just on its own, in a individual context, which is how I became the person you met, Herb. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, well, everyone's going to be mad at me no matter what I do. So I'm defining it for myself, and nobody can tell me what it is.
I love that's so. I mean, at least twice a week on streams, I'm saying that exact line. Like, it's just like, okay, well, these people didn't like me, and these people didn't like me, and there's no space in the middle, so I guess I'll fucking make one, because it's not going to just happen, you know.
Yeah, I remember crying driving home from the burn, my first burn. I remember crying and just going, "Oh my God, I found my freaks. I found the freaks that are like, I feel like are accepting of me in the way that I am." And then I realized that I had found a space for me to further blossom in, having that support from other fucking weirdos. So
yeah, love it. So hey, I feel like we should segue. We were about to talk about coffee. Jason, you made yourself some coffee. I just finished my cup of coffee.
I'm at the bottom of my.
Almost. I'm at the bottom.
I'm on the real light roast over here. It's just water.
So my coffee isn't going to be super interesting. I'm using some stuff that we used before. I've been drinking the Southern Weather all week. This shit is awesome. Yeah, it's so good.
It looks expensive. Is it expensive?
It was pretty expensive. It was like with shipping, a little over $20 for this. Like I think it's like a 10 ounce to 12 ounce.
That's expensive coffee. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's probably, it was like $16.99, and then with shipping and being like $22. Mm-hmm. Worth it. It's so good. But then like we've been mixing it with stuff we have around the house, and this will just show you how awful and pedestrian the shit that we're drinking is, right? So I held up the Starbucks. I've already got the Starbucks. This is the French roast. It's got a story to the French roast, which is, it says the story of French roast. Like,
I meant to ask you, I ground those beans for you the other day. Was that the right grind? Like, have they been brewing up some good coffee for you?
Perfect.
Sweet.
Dead on.
Sweet.
Dead on.
Yeah, you don't want it too watery. You don't want it to like clog it up,
Yeah, no, it wasn't too fine, right? So I've been going back and forth. Like, I've been trying to stretch this out by mixing it with, so I've got this.
I do that.
And
I do that.
We got to mix it with the crap, because I realized, I'm like, once I'm done with this good coffee and I'm just left with shit coffee, I'm going to be very unhappy.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I do that. I start rationing out my good beans and start like looking for the flavor of it in the other like lesser quality beans.
Totally. I've been doing like a 2-to-1 with the Southern Weather and this stuff right here, this 8 o'clock shit ass caramel macchiato, where someone's just like, just soak the beans in sugar and sell those. And then this happened to us today. All right, so we've been doing Coco and I've been doing the online shopping through like Amazon and Instacart and stuff like that, just to not have to go to the grocery store and deal with Georgians breathing on us. Because if y'all don't know, Georgia doesn't give a fuck about no coronavirus. We don't believe in that shit.
No, I don't give a fuck.
Here in Georgia.
Georgia doesn't care.
Yeah, no, Georgia
not even. Yeah, like just going through Instagram stories, I'm like, where am I watching the internet from another planet or something?
Dude, people have been living that way since it started. Just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm
I told everybody,
wondering how many people have they all killed? You know.
Yep.
Oh, God,
we had a 2-week lockdown. Keisha Bottom said 2 weeks, and then after that, I guess survive. If you,
we were the last state to close down and the first one to reopen,
and the last one to get vaccinations.
Yeah.
Oh goddamn, you guys are right.
Yeah, it's unreal.
So anyway, we've been doing the ordering online, and but dude, some of these shoppers, man, it's like I want to like catch the next one at the door and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like what's happening? So we've been, we ordered 2 containers of French vanilla creamer. We didn't get any creamer. We got this though, just shitty French vanilla coffee.
Oh no! Oh no!
So that's in there too. I have all of them.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I didn't touch anything.
You're still there, but your camera's off.
Yeah. Yep.
But coincidentally, it is a picture of the podcast, so it kind of works anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad I uploaded that profile picture earlier. Well, maybe we didn't pay for premium Zoom.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm just kidding. We'd all be out of here. Well.
Did his internet crash?
Yeah, it might have. Maybe.
I have him on Instagram right here. Let me be like, hey, what's good?
Jim says this segment is going to be like my light roast version of But What? Come on, Jim. We secretly think you're really into butt stuff. I think you're really actually into butt stuff.
Hey, no shame.
You're always,
make you gay.
I know. I think Herb and I are into butt stuff.
Right? I mean, like it just makes you into butts. There's nothing else there, you know?
Right.
You have to restart, Damian?
I think I have to. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well,
I think it's time for some memes in chat. There we go. Let's do some of those.
my friend Hey Bass came in and said believe victims, which I think is that kind of just like in a nutshell what we were talking about before. Like, yeah, just believe people. If people say some shit happen,
yep,
just listen to them. Yeah. Before you drop the not all whoever does no just listen because somebody did do it and that's
right.
it.
Yep. It sounds like most of Trump's supporters are just kind of in this place. A lot of conservatives are just kind of in this place of sort of playing the it's the common libertarian argument of just like, but what if this or what if that? They try to set up kind of a straw man to distract from the actual reality, which is that statistically the argument we're making is correct. You're just trying to play the out. You're trying to give yourself an out to not have to participate in this part of the world because, you say, well, not everyone feels that way. And hey, look, here's a black man with the opinion that I agree with. It's like, anyway.
Yeah. And it's like how. Why is it so hard for people to just say, okay, I hear you, and then move on? Why is that so hard?
Yeah.
We all do it. We all do it in different ways, but I feel like some of us choose to do it for small petty things like, talking about media or video games or movies or whatever. And other folks try to do it for much larger, more impactful crises and emergencies, and it's just kind of like you can argue all day about how good Coming to America 2 was, right? But don't if we're talking about the rights of people, people getting killed in public, what the cops are doing, there's no there is essentially no argument because it's on film. Everybody knows, everybody saw. What is there to debate?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, he says he made you the host, but now he doesn't know how to get back in.
Yeah, it says I'm the host now, and I saw him start to log in a second ago, and I saw him pop up as a participant in the chat. So
Damian, you probably. I guess if you just put in the same info you gave me, it might work.
Yeah, I was thinking if you just follow the link. today. If you're hosting today, do you have to let him back? I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I've been looking around. I'm looking at my Zoom app here, and as the host, I'm not seeing anything.
You know what you can do also is, as the host, just make it like where someone doesn't need a password, I guess. I don't know if you can do that once you're already in the call, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hold tight, y'all. Thank you for being here.
Indeed.
There's a few folks in the chat.
Yeah, we got 7 or 8 people in the chat. That's great. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Should we just stop the call and I'll rejoin, or
we can. Sure.
I don't know what the best method here is. It's not my. I don't know. I'm like poking around on stuff because I don't know what to do. I don't.
Here. Okay. So how about I'm gonna tell him in the chat. Yeah, Damian. How about like we leave and then he just like starts it again.
Yep.
And then we'll join back in.
Okay. Light Roast Comedy is.
Oh, there we
is
go.
The host now. Yeah. So
he's connecting to audio. There he goes.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
crap. Yeah, I had to restart my computer.
Awesome.
So I figured out what I did. I think I've done this on the show before too. Is I've got everything plugged into a dongle because Max, and
You said dongle.
Yeah, and I dropped the coffee bag on the table, and it just jostled it a little bit. And of course, what can I just plug it back in and reconnect? No. Well, can I restart the Zoom call? And no, that's not going to do it either. You got to restart your computer.
Yeah, so. You don't want to jostle your dongle too hard. That's never a good thing.
I like to jostle my dongle.
I do too, but during a live stream,
Not on this site, on different sites.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
Also,
yeah, right. This is the wrong site. That's
just saying, like, I mean, say whatever you want, Damian. It's your podcast, but just remember, on Twitch, like N-bombs, F-bombs, like if I mean, y'all just started on Twitch, but like if you have like let's say 50 viewers and you say that, they probably will ban you.
I was not aware of that.
Even like a friend of mine who's also gay, like said F-bomb in a similar fashion, like kind of like, hey, I was called this, I whatever.
Right.
And like somebody flagged him, even though it's like, dude, he's gay.
I thought you meant the fuck F-bomb. I was like, really? You can't say fuck?
Oh no, you could definitely say fuck. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Just saying.
And my intention is not to like just be rattling off, slurs and stuff. And
yeah. No, I mean, I put it this way. I mean, I think it's appropriate, but Twitch sometimes. It depends on who's watching. If somebody watches and then they flag it, it could be like that could be it right there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Good to know. I don't want to do that. Because if there's one thing we found out about the truth of American values is that money's more important than free speech.
Yeah, right. You better not show a titty, but you can call black people whatever you want, but you better not show a titty. That's it. That's all. That's that's the rule.
Well, I just mean on it's like we talk so much about free speech is important and stuff, and like where is speech really that free? Where is it really?
Yep.
That's like whenever someone says something, whenever someone pulls like a Roseanne or something, and then people are like, but she was on Ambien. I'm like, okay, but look, here's the thing. You're being unfair to Roseanne. Dude, if I worked for Starbucks at like a high enough level, and I was like, on Twitter calling people monkeys and stuff, yeah, I'd lose my job too. Like,
Yep. Right. Nobody is above consequence. And especially nowadays, like if you're in the public eye, like, keep your shit together because somebody, you know what I mean? It's just like
yes.
we live in that world now. And I think a lot of folks, I think all of us kind of like sort of subconsciously resent that fact, but we've also done it to ourselves. Like this is what we asked for when the internet was unleashed on us. Like this is what we get,
Yep.
And we also want transparency. People want a lot of transparency. We're not really trusting of the other. We're not trusting of groups. We're not trusting of famous people. We're not trusting of politicians. We're not, we want transparency. And so, and accountability. We want accountability. We also want,
we also want no accountability.
Simultaneous, we also want no accountability. We also
I didn't say that. That wasn't on my main account.
We want all of these spaces to be in the public domain and protected by public speech and by freedom of speech and all these things, and simultaneously treat them like private spaces where it's actually owned by a private company and actually private individuals set the rules. I mean, everybody's fucking confused about what they really want and what's really happening here. Like,
right.
The best thing
we weren't ready for the internet. We thought we were. We thought we wanted everything that it offers, but
that's right.
We weren't ready. Yeah, we're still not ready for it,
Yeah.
We still don't
but
know
I
what
think,
it
okay,
is.
so, we were talking about coffee, but I also, do you mind?
I'm ready to pivot. I'm ready.
I just, something you said that I thought was really worth talking about was, that your grandma taught you to be essentially adaptable. And I think that, and this is just, this is my filter of being, a white cis dude who happens to be queer, but I'm still a white cis dude and I still flag a white cis dude. So
sure.
I think is, if you've looked at my social media at all, I will go off on shit sometimes. I will take screenshots. I will make sure someone understands, blah, blah, blah. I'll go like, don't come for me on the internet. Don't come for me.
Oh, I've seen it.
Right. But I think it's also worth, and this is something I need to hear myself, but I've had conversations with people that are like, more marginalized than myself, that I respect and care for, friends of mine. And I will tell them, look, I know you're angry. I know you want to just burn it all down. But remember, at the end of the day, straight white dudes run the world. They just do. Not forever, not always, but up until this point, they do. So sometimes you kind of have to be careful. And that doesn't mean like censoring. It just means if you want this game to be slanted in your favor, you have to like play the game sometimes. And maybe that means doing it like Lil Nas, where you have that Trojan horse, right, of Old Town Road, but secretly inside it's some black queer shit.
Yeah.
You
right.
know?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the way to do it, is to infiltrate.
Yes.
Well, I feel like well, and there, there's arguments to be made on, for and against infiltration and trying to change things. Like I've definitely never been you've got to get inside the system and change it from the inside. Go be a lawyer. That's how a real.
Right.
Nah, fuck that.
Right. That was SLC Punk. That was 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. That was 20 years ago and took place 40 years ago. Right. But so in fact, I remember having a conversation with a trans person in the burn community who I personally, just as an individual, find to be pretty nasty with just how they deal with people in general, whether it's about that or anything else. I just, I don't think they're a great person, but they were going off on somebody and really letting someone have it and basically making the argument of marginalized people shouldn't have to be held to a standard of behavior because we're oppressed. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing about that. First of all, that's a super privileged perspective because I'm black and I just don't get to do that. I just don't get to. Right. Like, if
right. Well, it's like you do, and then you get shot. Yeah.
And then
you can, but yeah, you'll get shot. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, first of all, recognize your ability to misbehave publicly and have people go, oh, are you going to be okay?
Right.
Right. We don't all get that. And I said, secondly, man, coming from this perspective, I know it's not true. I know it's not right or fair that the burden of peaceful approach should be on you. But real world, it is. It just is. And it's like you can accept that and figure out how to move with it, or you can keep shouting down everybody who doesn't agree with every micro point you make until you're blue in the face and run everybody away from you and come off like a big jerk. But you're still a jerk, your orientation doesn't make you exempt from being an asshole.
True. Yeah. And really, I mean, it's like, you're not going to get that far unless you kind of, learn, some of the most successful people in life are essentially a bard or a diplomat. Totally. That trope, that character role, there's a reason why bards exist, even in like basically every kind of story, no matter what. There's a reason why they exist, because they don't take sides, and they're like,
that's right.
Look, I'm just trying to like, I don't know what's going on here, but they're trying to kill whoever. I'm just gonna like whatever's gonna work, let's do it. And that isn't the entire answer, because you don't want to just go along with whoever's gonna like, you don't want to just go along with whoever's winning, because
play for the winning side is definitely
right. But at the same time, you kind of do have to like, you have to flow. If we put it this way, if we as people that are not straight and white, if we anybody queer, if anybody black, anybody brown, if we stormed the Capitol, oh my God, they would have dropped a freaking nuke on the Capitol and then been like, oh well, it had to be done. It would have been like a crater.
We had to find a way to deal with those.
Right. We didn't know what else to do. They were out of control.
Well,
and it's like
that's what got them. Well, that's one of the big things that's gotten them in trouble politically going on now, is everybody saw the response when there were peaceful protests approaching the Capitol with Black Lives Matter groups, and how they came out in full force defending with the fucking National Guard. And then this actual armed group of fucking crazy right-wingers show up, and they're like, oh, they're fine. That stark contrast was very vivid. It was vivid and literally black and white, very clear to see. So that's what's being investigated by Congress, but they're not going to do anything about it.
Right, and y'all saw the thing with Representative Park Cannon last week. You know what I'm talking about?
You can remind me, maybe.
Okay, so our state representative for Georgia, Park Cannon, black queer woman, she went to go knock on the door of Brian Kemp when he was signing the thing, and got like dragged, like not even read her rights, nothing. They
dragged away. 4
cops took her and dragged her out of the building, and it was like, dude, it's like this one woman unarmed, like she's fine. Let her knock on the door of the dude who's trying to take voter rights away from everyone.
And she was asking a valid question. It's not like she was doing something even unorthodox. All she was saying is, hey, I just got wind that you guys are secretly signing this document. You're signing these new laws, and it's private. Doors are closed. As a member of the state legislature, I have the right to ask to see that document. I would like to see it before you sign it, please. She has every right to ask that. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
But so it really black ass off.
Right. And exactly. It's like, it's very much like, if you just happen to be the wrong color or the wrong orientation, like you just get treated way differently. And so some people react to that with getting even louder, even angrier. And I think that's absolutely valid. I'm not even going to say, but I think that's valid. And also, if we want more change to happen, you do have to sometimes do the infiltration route, the sort of make your money, get your power, and then fuck shit up kind of thing. It shouldn't have to be that way. I don't want it to be that way, but
it is right now.
But it is, yes.
It is until we make it otherwise. And honestly, you mentioned him briefly, and I want to kind of pivot to this story and to stories in general. But the Lil Nas X move, I actually thought was really smart and calculated. And I think, in my opinion, that's one of the greatest ways to take those really heavy-handed shots, is to do it through art and media. And the response to him, I mean, I've been giggling the entire way. I'm not like a huge fan of Lil Nas X's music or whatever. It's all right. It's fine. It's pop. It's whatever. But I think he's he's very savvy with internet presence, which is how he kind of came up in the first place. He said it was how he came up with Old Town Road. He was just looking at what was hot in memes, and he said there was kind of this cowboy theme. So I did this like little cowboy meme just to see how it would do, and it popped. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a country song. Fucking So he clearly knows what he's doing. I loved it when he popped up with a pair of tits. I mean, just expert move, man. Expert move. He pulled that Marilyn Manson stunt from '98, but did it way better. And
people just flip. People flip like Lil' Kim wasn't a thing in the '90s, or like Bone Thugs and Harmony wasn't a thing, or like Public Enemy.
3-6 Mafia.
Right, 3-6 Mafia. Yeah.
Grave Diggers, DMX. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? It's something. It's dark and hell is hot or some shit.
He's like, that first album.
You know. Yeah. And so that's why I think you saw I made a post where I was just like, I reposted somebody else where they were talking about that. They were like, come on, man. Like all these, there's been so many rap artists and groups that have used satanic imagery, and, DMX did satanic prayers on his album. Bone Thugs are talking about Mr. Ouija, murder, midnight. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So what are we really mad about? We're mad because he's gay. We're mad because he's gay and he's unapologetic about it. And he took your stupid little condescending religious imagery and he flipped it on its head, because you guys are using it to intimidate people and to guilt people into behaving a certain way. So okay, he used your own ammunition against you. I like what he did. I feel like that's a good move. If you really want to put a middle finger up at somebody, do a stunt like that. That's more effective than calling them a bitch on the internet.
And so many young people are going to see that and think to themselves, okay, like I don't have to hide, Right. Lil Nas X did it. I don't have to hide. A lot of people are afraid about him, influencing others as if, and it's like, look, he's not going to influence anyone to lap dance to get fucked by the devil. That's not the influence. He's going to influence people to be themselves.
Right.
Yes.
And, he made a great point. It's gone around. It's all over the internet right now, but he made a great point where he's like, look, me sliding down a CGI pole is not ruining society. Okay.
No.
Meanwhile, there's a whole laundry list of things that, we don't even have to repeat here because we all know them. But it's like, that's not the thing that's ruining society. It's been ruined. It started ruined.
Right.
It's just finally getting leveraged back in the other direction a little bit. And people don't like it because it screws their worldview up,
Well, and people want to make this excuse now. Well, why did he have to involve Satan and he's got the shoes with the blood in them, and see, that's evidence that he's part of a satanic blood. No, man, because he used that because he knew it was a hot button. He knew he was pushing your buttons. He knew as soon as he invoked that imagery, everyone was going to go, what do we do with this? And I saw that as particularly punk rock. I thought that was a super rock and roll, fuck you move to do, and he's not the first one to do it.
I'm in support of anybody poking Christians right now. I'm just like, here,
absolutely.
Hey, you don't think you're a hypocrite? Here, book.
Right? They're so mad about the devil, and it's like, what, didn't y'all make that up? What?
That's the thing, right? Is that they, they truly believe that story in a literal sense, and it's like,
true believers,
fine. Yeah, and fine. You want to believe that story? Fine, believe that story. If it's not for you to do, then it's not for you to do. But the reason he did that, it's not like it was unprovoked, right? It's not like he was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna fuck the devil and make everybody mad. No, it's because people have been coming, especially people in the Black and hip hop community, because we were tortured into accepting Christianity.
Yep.
As part of slavery.
Right. Do it or you're dead. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just do it or you're dead. It's like, do it or we're going to put you in an Iron Maiden until you're almost dead, and then take you out and let you heal for a couple of days, then whip the shit out of you, then cut your hands off. And,
all those traditional African practices they brought with us were all labeled the devil's work,
Right. Yeah.
And
voodoo
even
was labeled evil. Witchcraft was labeled evil.
Everything. Yeah. And if just take, I had a Christian tell me this one time. He walked into my house and I was listening to some like Ravi Shankar sitar music. He was like covering his ears and he was like, "You're opening yourself up to the fucking devil." And I'm just like, what? Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, just anyway, I think I asked him literally to get the fuck out. I think.
Yeah, anything they don't understand must be evil. There must be no other conclusion. It has to be evil. What else could it be?
Yeah, if you don't understand it, it's definitely evil because they understand everything.
Right.
Yeah,
I went to a school the last 2 years of high school that talked that shit about like, well, you shouldn't listen to any secular music.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Why not? Well, you should only be engaged in things that have a spiritual merit to it. And I go, I have a spiritual experience from listening to music, from listening to everyday secular music. I have religious experiences.
Yes.
It truly touches me in that way. Well, but does it, your secular music, does it help? You shouldn't listen to it if it doesn't help you on your path toward God. I'm like,
towards
what?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd look at the teacher and go like, well, what path doesn't lead back to God?
Oh,
and what didn't God create in the first place?
Right.
You know, if he's everything, how are these notes that I'm hearing, or this human that God created in His likeness?
Right.
How is this person creating something from the devil and not from God? And didn't God originally create the devil, but devil defied God and went and did
With
I
the
don't
free
know.
will
I don't
that
know.
God
I
gave
don't
him.
I don't understand.
Yeah, there's no way to follow the logic. They don't even get it. They don't even know it. They'll be like, "Well, I read it in the Bible," and I'm like, "Did you read it though?" And even if you did, who wrote it though?
Well, and then
Some
also
humans
it's like,
about
okay,
50
for those
years
things,
after Jesus lived.
well, and those things
At least.
at least. But there was, when people quote stuff like that. So all the stuff like that's all Old Testament, man. That the man should not lie with a woman, and okay. But it also says in the Old Testament that if a person utters a curse word, that the town should surround them, lay hands upon them, and stone them to death.
Yeah, well,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Oh God, the stoning it's so used so much.
It's all over.
all
It's
over
all
the
over
Old
the Old Testament. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, the Old Testament advocates for all
Everybody
sorts of
must
awful
get
shit, violence
stoned.
against women, and dude, all types of stuff.
Yep.
Like, it's like, can we just admit that a lot of the shit in that book is just outdated?
No, we
like,
cannot.
Like, okay, people
No, we
bring up
cannot.
like,
How
well,
dare you.
maybe not everything in the Bible, but you should at least follow the 10 Commandments. I happen to know for a fact that one of the 10 Commandments is, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's oxen." When has that ever been a problem for anybody that we've ever met?
Yeah.
Right in the past 100 years. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, doesn't the oxen, I
100,
think, technically represent
1,000.
just like the items of thy neighbor? Just like there's like they speak about the wife and the items of, like, I don't know.
No, they just do wife and oxen.
Right, but I mean oxygen. Yeah, never mind.
They don't say house. They don't say field. They don't say chickens. They don't say chariot. They don't say fishing line. They don't say any of that shit. Wife and oxen. So clearly those were very important at that time. They didn't say cattle. They could have used a broad terminology. They pinned it down. They said, "Oh, my point is that, it's a 2,000-year-old book."
Yeah.
That's not.
the Bronze
I put it this
Age.
way. I think it was Alan. What's that guy's name?
Watts.
Alan Watts. Yeah, I think it was an Alan Watts quote. He's talking about Jesus and Christianity. He says, I like to say that Christianity isn't the religion of Jesus; it's the religion about him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
great.
If you compare the religious doctrine to his teachings, they are pretty far apart.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the weird, angry fanboys who are like, "No, I've decided you are this thing that I've decided because I like your stuff, so I am in charge of what your thing is, even though you made it and I didn't."
Yeah,
Right,
you
yeah.
know,
Right.
King James.
Yeah.
That's King James's whole approach to the Bible. Is like, I know y'all
Fanboy.
have this, y'all. I love this Bible thing, but I think I'm going to rework it and do my own thing with it, and we're gonna.
I mean, that was
Set it in a new
that was the case
trajectory.
from the very beginning. That was the case from the Council of Nicaea, when they put, there were like over 400 books in the running to be in the Bible. They assembled all these different religious leaders from these tiny little groups all over, what was at that time the Roman Empire, that they were trying to unify in politics, religion, and design. So that's how we have like Roman archways and pillars and stuff here, is because that all just exported from ancient Rome. By the time Victorian England was a thing, it looked like that, right? Or sorry, Elizabethan England, right? It already looked like Rome. It was all the same design. Streets are designed the same. Churches are designed the same. Buildings are designed the same. So when they went and colonized America, same thing. Roman,
Sure.
Roman design.
We just kind of have this like, and it's not just religion. Religion is a big part of it, but we just have this like massive worldwide denial.
Yes.
Lack of therapy, lack of
We're all sociopaths.
psychological awareness,
Yeah.
lack of looking inwards, and everyone is in on it. Not everyone, but a large majority of people are in on it, and unfortunately, most of those are ones in power or and I think this is more common than people think. The ones in power are not actually the ones who believe it. The ones in power are a bunch of yes men. And
That's
they're like,
what I
oh
was
shit,
about to say.
if I don't do this, like, man, these people are not going to pay me. And these Christians have money. So if I don't make them happy, like, fuck, what? Bernie's people are going to pay me? They don't got no money. They're all, you know what I mean? Like they look at it like,
over there
what
with their
am I going to do to get on
values.
top? Yeah.
Right.
You know, I think honestly, you know, I mean, I don't know Mitch McConnell, and fuck Mitch McConnell, but like, I don't know people like that, but I think a lot of the time they really don't believe in it. It doesn't matter to them at all. Yeah, they don't care. They're
believe
just
in
whatever's going to
power.
get them ahead is going to get them ahead,
They believe
and they'll
in
do
power.
it.
Yeah, that's right. They're
Yeah, but
powerists.
the rest of the population, I feel like, is in a giant denial on all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
All sorts of things.
Yep, that's it. Nail on the head.
So you know, Little Nas is. I mean, he's really not doing anything that different from so many other pioneers before him, black, queer, or otherwise. But this just happens to be the hot topic now because it just dropped last week, and you know, it is. I mean, visually, it's pretty. You know, it's a lot for someone who's like, I don't know, I guess tame.
Right.
It's not that crazy. I mean, I saw Ninja Scroll when I was in the 90s. Like that shit was way more over the top, you know.
I attend go ahead.
I was gonna say I get why the shoes are freaking people out, but part of the reason that's freaking people out is just because of this uptick in these weird conspiracy theories traveling around the internet. You know, which I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm convinced there's pedophilia and high levels of government and Hollywood. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably some other weird, sick shit. There's definitely evidence that there are groups into ancient ritual magic and all that stuff. There's all sorts of evidence to found that stuff, all sorts of evidence to validate that stuff, right? But then there's been this weird shift over the last 5-10 years, slowly toward this weird, you know, conservative Christian bent on that kind of messaging, I guess. And you know, you hear stuff like, what was it, like Macaulay Culkin had said something about red being introduced to somebody who had red leather shoes, and they said it was made of children or some shit. You know, so there's just this whole dialogue going on now about satanic cults and shoes and blood and pedophilia, and so like, you know, I'm sure. And what's weird is, like, as big of a topic as that is on the white conservative right, you hear it a lot in religious black communities too. Mm-hmm. The same type of conspiracy theorism. Which is why I still maintain that white people stole it from us.
right. We stole everything, including the bad stuff too.
Yeah, y'all are the original conspiracy theorists.
But wait a minute though. But the original black conspiracy theorism was founded, all right, and we're still finding out information about it.
It was legit.
We just found out that they admitted to killing Malcolm X. It was an FBI guy on his deathbed. Oh yeah, by the way, we shot that Negro. Okay.
Yeah, they're conspiracy laws now. They're not theories anymore.
Right. Yeah. They're conspiracies that were theories, and now they've been proven.
Terminology.
And so, you know, like I get why black folks are paranoid, because, you know, every time we turn around, there's we find something else out that they did to us, or we watch it happen. You know, stuff happens all the time. I remember during the war in Iraq, you know, like how now is still during, but like early during. There was a black kid, 18 or 19, college student, and was an anti-war activist, and he ran an anti-war activist website, and he linked to a bunch of other websites. Some of them were anarchist groups and stuff like that, Crime Think and things like that. And one other website he linked to had another outbound link on it to a site that had a recipe for a pipe bomb. So a SWAT team broke into this child's parents' house in the middle of the night and just took him. And he was in jail for like 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, this stuff, we see this stuff happen all the time. So it's like, that stuff I get. But then somewhere along the way, it became this weird, you know, heteronormative. And you know what the problem is, folks, is they're turning everybody gay right now. And it's like, is that the problem? Is that it? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
There was legitimately an issue with chemicals making frogs hermaphroditic, but that's not the same thing.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of like, I saw a great thing today that was just like, okay, all right. Let's roll with that logic for a minute. How about, okay, all right, fine. Little Nas X, sure, it's turning kids gay. Okay, all right. So how about after they've been turned, right? After they're heathens now, why don't you just like, show them that Megan Thee Stallion video, and then they'll just turn back straight. I mean, it's just that easy.
I remember when I decided to be straight,
Right, exactly. Right. Just show them the WAP video. Don't worry, they'll come right back around to vagina. It's all good. It's easy fix. It's wax on, wax off, right? Like you wake up in the morning, you listen to Nas, you're gay for the day. And then you wake up tomorrow, you listen to Megan Thee Stallion, you're straight for the day.
I mean, I think all of them are pulling the wax off.
Yeah.
All waxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another thing that was funny that everybody got mad at was I mean, honestly, that was funny on both sides to me. The WAP video, I kind of laughed at the fanfare on both sides because I was like, we've done all of this before.
Yeah, that's not that crazy. I'm like, y'all heard the Brat, right? Y'all heard Lil' Kim, right? Like,
right? I was like, yo, and I made a joke online, and this was, I mean, again, one of these like, left activist crazy people. I mean, really went off on me, and like I tried to do a whole campaign. This is a burner. You might even know who this is. They tried to do a whole campaign against me. They did a photo shoot at me. They called me misogynoir, all this crazy stuff. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry. You can keep screaming that at me, but doesn't make it true. But I made a joke where I said, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B trying to look like late 90s Lil' Kim. Meanwhile, late 90s Lil' Kim out here trying to look like late 90s Michael Jackson. Which is, don't get me wrong, sad, but it's more me making a comment on like first of all, we're all freaking out about this, like this is new, and like we've already seen female rap artists like owning their sexuality in a decidedly vulgar and aggressive way. So that's not new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, when people are like, this is the greatest movement in feminism since, but is it the greatest advance forward? Like, it's a dope video. I'm glad they did it. They shouldn't be, they shouldn't be criticized. I don't know if it was like, if it like did a whole lot for like the feminist movement necessarily. But so yeah, it was like both sides. People were like, this is the best thing that ever happened. And people were like, this is the worst thing you could ever see on TV. I'm like, you're all crazy.
Yeah, the absolutes are really extreme. This is no other way to say it, but they're really extreme these days. People are really like choosing sides. And I'm kind of like, y'all, I've always felt other. Even within other white groups, even with other dudes or whatever, like I've always felt other. Like I'm kind of like, I see these sides, but I don't feel either of those sides. Mm-hmm. And it's always kind of like, well, where does that put me? And I know that millions of other people also feel that way.
Right.
And we're kind of just like, wow, like what, wow, like, what, where do you draw the line? Where do you end up? Obviously, I believe in justice and rights for all people, but I also I don't know. Sometimes, like you're saying, yeah, it's like just because someone's saying their truth, just because someone's loud about it or has a platform for it, doesn't mean that it's like necessarily something I want to get behind, even if it shares the similar ideals to mine. Like I don't, WAP didn't do anything for me really, but I also don't have a vagina, so maybe I would feel differently if I did. Yeah. But I'm also, but I'm not going to pretend like it's evil either. I mean, it's fine. Let them have it. And like you said, it's nothing new. Yeah, it's a sexy, sleazy music video. There's plenty of them. Yeah. Plus, I mean, if you spent any time listening to Cardi B talk on any level, it's like, oh, I knew a girl just like her in high school. You know what I mean? Like I knew a girl. I wouldn't have called that girl a feminist. Right. Exactly. She wasn't exactly like groundbreaking in like her approach to, gender identity or rights or anything. Usually that was the girl that's like,
fuck you, ha, I'll take your man. And I'm like, I mean, that's, I don't know if that's like the most empowered way to be going about it, but but whatever. I mean, but like, do you, hey, like get money, whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever. If your empowerment looks like a sugar daddy, like I'm not hating on that. If your empowerment looks like being single, I'm not, power to you, whatever.
Yeah. But I think a lot of this is just, every time conservatives or Christians or, right-wing folk freak out about something, it's kind of just like, in my head is constantly, yes, okay, fine, freak out, have your feelings. Meanwhile, bombing in Syria, kids in cages, blah, blah, blah. Like I hate to even say it with that tone in my voice, but it's just like we're so tired of saying it. We're so tired of being like, yeah, this young black dude who's queer sliding down on a CGI pole is really breathtaking and groundbreaking, yes, but that's not the biggest problem in the world. It's not a problem, first of all, but even if it is a problem,
single-handedly ruining America.
Right. I think Biden kind of said it best, and by best I mean he put his own foot in his mouth where he was like, "This isn't America. This isn't us." I almost laughed. I almost fell out of my chair.
Yeah,
I almost fell out of my chair, just like laughing, just like
it's totally us.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything you said is us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, it's not really funny, but you just have to laugh sometimes at the audacity of that people will try to put their denial on you.
Oh God, I was gonna say, God, it's perfect segue back, or the callback to denial earlier.
Yeah,
like, man,
like they'll literally do Jedi mind tricks. Like he straight up, the inauguration, the whole thing was like, hey, let me get Lady Gaga in here with these fucking Oreos and J-Lo, and you know what, we're gonna do this because then the queers will be like, yeah, Biden, and they did, except that not my ass, but they did, but like it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just like they had a focus group and they're like, okay, how can we make this the most gay but not satanic inauguration possible?
Little satanic. It's okay. Sprinkle.
We're looking for family-friendly butt fucking is what we like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can we slide in but not make a mess at all? Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm over here like, honey, you can't. Okay. Yeah. Trust me.
Only. Yeah. Although I've been to a couple of workshops where there's some pros out there who've got some really good tricks up their sleeves. I can tell you that.
But see,
it takes a lot of prep. You may even have to like starve yourself for a couple of days. Like.
Right. But between the storming on the Capitol and the inauguration, there wasn't enough time to douche. So it had to get a little dirty.
All right.
It had to be a little dirty.
Yes.
But like the whole time he's just like, he's promising all this stuff and saying all this stuff, and I'm like, buddy, I do want to believe you, I really do, but I just don't, and I don't believe you because when you look at the entire, I mean, all this is cliche at this point, I guess, but when you look at the entire line of presidents, right, all white dudes, really, except for Obama, all white dudes,
right,
really. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, but wait, guys, we have a black vice president now. It's going to be okay. And it's like, that's really just, it's not good enough. It's not
a black vice president who laughs about locking up black people for simple weed charges and hiding evidence in cases where people could have been exonerated.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
We're so happy to have her.
I mean, you don't have to look at all the presidents. You can just look at Biden's history on his own. He's been in politics so long. It's like, what have you been doing this whole time? Propping up the centrist, fucking conservative, Christian, capitalistic values. Hardcore ones too. Yeah.
They really straight up did a Jedi mind trick. It was literally Obi-Wan being like, no, these aren't the racists you're looking for. No, not right here. And then everyone was just like, oh, well, Lady Gaga's there. Okay, then I guess it must be all right.
That's what everybody was saying when Bernie was really coming out strong at the start. Was like, y'all know that this is going to go like towards Biden, and this is going to be their angle, and they're going to Jedi mind trick everyone.
Yeah.
When really Bernie's like the one I think I wanted, but.
And I have a very, very intelligent friend of mine who is the kind of guy that like will literally stand at the Capitol with a sign all by himself, not even with the group. He'll just go out there and be like, "Fuck this! Don't do this. I believe this." And is legitimate in his feelings and his thoughts. I respect what he has to say, and so there's a part of me in my mind that's always like, okay, well, also, I mean, better than Trump? Yes, a fucking Ritz cracker is better than Trump. I mean,
right.
a can of soda that's smashed into the ground is better than Trump. So in that sense, like, it is progress, but it's so incremental, it's so gradual, and that's just not what we need right now. You said you used to work at Starbucks, Damian.
I did.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you work at a store for a little while and shit starts going like south, like it's just like the morale's down, the numbers are down, it's shitty. So what they always do, the district manager will bring in a new manager. One manager will be like, I'm burned out, I'm done, and the other manager will just come in and like handle shit. And even though the whole discussion of how good that is for the employees is another time, but that's what we really need, is someone to come in and handle shit, someone to just come in and fucking Marie Kondo that shit. Just like, okay, does this bring us joy? Okay, no, it's gone forever. Throw it out. And we just don't. Biden's not that person. Biden's not that person, and every old white man has had their turn. So it's kind of like, you've had your turn. Can we let someone else just try? Just try. I don't even think Bernie should be up there. I think Bernie should be an advisor to someone young, black, and queer.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I was just going with the given options plus, a track record that's consistent, really.
Right, and that's the thing. Right. Yeah, like you said, the given options. Exactly. Out of the options, Biden isn't the worst thing, I guess, but
it's the giant deuce versus the turd sandwich.
Well, he's the return to business as usual, which we all knew.
Yeah.
The Jedi mind trick that was played on us was convincing us that that's a good thing.
Right.
Don't we just want to go back to normal? And you hear everybody repeating it. Oh, I'm just so glad things are going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, there is no back. We're that world is gone. That world is dead.
There's that, and B, like how quickly we forget how awful normal was.
Yes.
As much as I was happy to see Obama in place, do we not remember the housing market crash? Do we not remember $7 billion to bail out the people who stole from us and bet against us? Do we remember more drone strikes than any other president?
There's some really bad immigration stuff that happened under Obama too. Obama was really not. All the cages are started under Obama. And this is how just worn down we've been, is that even that was such a better alternative to W before him, that we were just like, hey, whatever. As long as is he not gonna say strategery, and are we not gonna be scared every day that he's just gonna accidentally hit the nuke button and
right
like, then fine, kill some children, pay off some bankers, whatever you got to do, dude. We just don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah, and then Obama came and it was kind of like, yes, we can put up with this, I guess. Like that's what I heard. That's what came through my ears when he said, yes, we can. It was kind of like, yes, we can deal with this longer. We can endure this terror. It's just like, I think obviously many changes need to happen. And I know this is going to sound radical or whatever, but I think it's very odd that in a society that's supposed to be, democratic, that's supposed to allow everyone a piece of the pie, a seat at the table, all that. I think it's really odd that we still have like a single president. Like there's this idol, there's this person on top. Whether they and to be fair, science teaches us, as a single person, you can only maintain so many relationships, really. Right. You can only do so much. There's only so much fucking time in the day. Biden looks like he's about to fall over, and then he actually did up that stairway.
That's right.
So, like,
he has
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he uses did you see the cheat sheet that he's been using recently? He walks up to the podium with a big cheat sheet piece of paper with people's faces, a photo of their face, and like their title and a little brief bit of information, so that he knows.
Because he has no idea when he gets up there what he's going to be talking about. Yeah.
No, seriously.
But it's like I feel like we kind of need to. I mean, the whole thing needs to be restructured. I'm not saying burn the whole thing down. I'm saying like, I don't know. I mean, just if these rich white folks want to just go be rich and white, okay, fine. Leave, go to Montana and be rich and white, and let other people in the White House, let other people in the building to do something. Just
But see, but they know that what that's eventually going to do is get in the way of all of the little rules that they've made and changed that work in their favor. They know that the cards will no longer be stacked in their favor, and that's just that's the thing, right? That's the thing that's really deplorable about people like this and about the way our country runs and the way the establishment has held on to power, is that they know that they didn't get it fairly,
right,
and that they're not holding on to it fairly. And they can preach till they're blue in the face about like, well, it should be equal opportunity for people, and we're an equal country, and it's just about how hard you work. But then they go behind the scenes, and not even really behind the scenes anymore, and do everything they can to make sure that everyone who's not them never really has a seat at the table. Not really. You know, okay, sure, stand over there and tell us why you're mad. That's fine. But then don't stay over there though.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we have to expect that they're going to do everything they can to lock out the people who they know would change things to benefit themselves first.
Yeah.
You know, or to benefit the have-nots. That's why Georgia's trying so hard to stop black people from voting in the next election. Because they went, wait a minute, they actually got some stuff done.
It's the only way.
Yeah,
it's the only way.
Exactly.
Now, can we talk about that for a second?
They can't run on their own
voting.
Please, let's please talk about that.
So, I've heard many people who are absolutely self-proclaimed sort of woke or self-proclaimed kind of like they obviously mean well, and they're clearly not like fascist or racist or anything like that, but they're this overarching idea of like, well, I'm not going to vote because that doesn't matter, and I'm like, dude, I've definitely felt that way in my life. I didn't vote for like 10 years.
Same.
However, it's just like, duh. If it didn't do anything, then why would they try to stop everyone from doing it? It's that simple. It's that simple.
Eventually what I got to. If it didn't mean anything, they wouldn't be trying so hard to stop us from doing it.
Yeah, they are really trying hard. Right. It's like now you can't even like give water to someone waiting in line to vote. Like,
I mean, like how the only way it could be more blatant is if they just said no poor black or brown voters.
That's right.
Right. Like if you show up at the voting station, we're going to shoot you on sight. Like that's what that would be the only step after this. Yeah.
I mean, like how crazy is it that they can do things like this that are so blatant, everybody knows what it's about, and we can't even really in any real way acknowledge that that's what's being done. The same way that we don't have a real way to acknowledge that a major portion of the Republican Party, many of whom are now still in Congress, helped instigate and propagate this movement that led to the insurrection.
That's right.
Yep.
You know, all them people should be in jail. And Mitch McConnell shouldn't be on the Senate floor. He should be in a prison cell for what he did.
I'm always like, this is gonna. Well, it's gonna sound. It's gonna sound however it sounds. Whatever. I'm gonna make friends or not. How do people like? How do certain people get shot and other people don't get shot? How has Trump not gotten shot yet? Like I just don't understand it. Is there no one on the left side with like a sniper or something? Like no left person on the left owns a sniper rifle? Really? Like I'm not gonna encourage anyone to do this, but how has it not happened?
You'd be I mean everybody makes the joke, but I mean I think you really would be a hero.
But it's just
There was the one lady from Canada that tried to poison him with ricin.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
That was
good for her. Good for her.
Good attempt.
That's like old. That's like old ninja tricks. That's like when I used to play Tenchu on PS1, and you could put out the poison rice. The dudes would eat it and then like pass out, and then you could go steal their shit. It was.
What happened to her? What happened to the person? Did she get charged? I mean, is she like in a jail cell rotting away now for trying to kill the president? I mean,
most likely.
I just don't understand how it hasn't happened. Would I do it myself? I mean, no, I don't. And I think that's what it is so many people who believe in rights for everyone, who actually believe in equality, just aren't the same kind of people who would do that kind of thing.
Turns out most of the people on the left are not big fans of capital punishment.
Right. Exactly.
Well,
Well, what?
Go ahead. I was just saying the left is Batman and the right is Joker.
Right. Yeah, right,
Then,
exactly. And Batman just will not fucking cap that dude, no matter how. He could blow up Gotham, literally, and Batman will be like, well, maybe next time I'll get him, you know? Like,
and then Joker's sitting there laughing at him like, so instead of just killing me, you let me kill 5 of your closest friends, your love interest, and half the town of Gotham. Yeah. Because you're a good guy.
Yeah.
Right. All right. See you next week.
Mm-hmm. Right. See you next week. Rolls Batmobile back to the mansion.
Right. On next week's episode.
It's so true. I know that may sound, volatile, but sometimes even when I was like, I remember being like 12 or 13 and asking my dad, like, so if all these good people get shot, how come the bad people never get shot? And he was like, the bad people never get shot. And I'm like, well, the bad people have to get shot sometimes, right? I mean, there's enough weapons in the world. There's enough, doesn't it just statistically, doesn't it have to happen eventually?
I mean, bad people definitely get shot.
We're definitely in a place where we're all arguing over who the good and the bad people are.
True. That's very true. Yes.
Sure. Well, I think that's kind of an important revelation just in our time, right? And for our generation, even just like in media and the way stories are told, is that, good and bad aren't as binary and diametrically opposed and concrete as we once were led to believe they were, right? They kind of can differ depending on the situation or who you're dealing with, or moral gray is an important thing to investigate, I think. But again, that's another place where the conversation is being manipulated to kind of eradicate that. There is no gray. You're on this side or you're on that side. You're with the good people or you're with the bad people. You're with the Americans or you're with the terrorists. And I'm like, hey, newsflash, there are American terrorists.
Too many.
There's a lot of them.
Melissa's chiming in chat. She says, from what I understand about our military spending, the only person who would actually be able to shoot the president would be his own Secret Service. I think they could get away with it somehow.
But it's like you're telling me none of those no one's a splinter cell.
They get vetted hard. I mean, they get vetted pretty hard.
I guess. I'm just like, no.
I've wondered that
never
too.
Occurred. Like,
are they just bad? Are they just like oath takers and that's it, or are they actually like Trump supporters who are really like protecting?
Right? Are they true believers, or are they just like bumbling like the cops in Pink Panther? Like, what is it? What is the like where does it happen or not happen? I don't want anyone to get shot.
Right.
But definitely someone who has made sure that millions have died by shooting or other methods, by HIV, by whatever it is. It's like, I mean, there has to be a point where it's just like how, it blows my mind. I mean, we could talk about that forever. I think
when they remain in power is tough too, because they're currently active.
You said earlier, you said gray area, and that reminded me, that's a great drag name. There's a drag performer called Gray Aria.
Gray Aria.
Everything's a gray aria. Yeah,
that's cool. That's really good. I'm gonna pivot to another story here.
Sure.
Because we're getting close to time to wrap it up. God, I almost don't know what to go for first. What do you think would make a bigger story in the news if or would get people more upset? Trump crashing liberal weddings or Lil Nas X crashing a conservative wedding? Which one do you think?
I think Lil Nas would do it better, first of all, because he'd slide down in from the ceiling on a pole. Trump like comes out of the bathroom like spraying the air freshener. He's that dude.
Lil Nas X would come in his own wedding dress with the cleavage.
Yeah.
Well, Trump's gonna come down an elevator
slowly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but yeah, Trump has been crashing weddings.
Yes.
What a fucking weirdo, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude, I don't know what I would do if I got. I mean, first of all, weddings. Whatever. But if I did have one and Trump showed up, it would be real hard to not hit him.
Well, he can't help himself but talk about his election fraud. That's what he's talking about.
Like
he's like
during
crashing
the wedding.
That's all he's. Yeah, he's like, whoa, blah blah blah. I stole the election and how many votes and blah blah. He spends like a good minute or two talking about his story about the election.
You're just having your wedding and then all of a sudden you hear like
Excuse me, I'd like to make a test.
But wait, but
I just want to say that
right.
I'm so happy to be here, even though the Democrats stole the election.
I can't even.
Just want to say wish many happy New Years to what's your name, whoever. I am going to grab your wife by the pussy later.
You know, like just
Right.
go off about Dominion voting systems for 20 minutes. Like,
I mean, that's the reality that's actually happening. Is he's literally crashing weddings like that? It's insane.
It's so weird because like when you think about like early humans, right? We essentially started out as very savage people, as very much like, we there's hunter gatherers, right? There's we survive, we kill what we need to, we do what we need to do to survive. And flash forward, thousands of years, here we are, and it's like we still have all these urges and all these sort of deep-seated calls to our natural primal selves to be violent, to do violent things, but we also have brains that tell us, hey, that's probably not a good idea, or like, whoa, you wouldn't want that to happen to you, right? And some people, I feel like, are kind of still wrapped up in their primal side, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And they just can't shake it, and the rest of us like would never sink to that level, so we don't know what to do with them. Like, it's like, what do we do with them? Where do we put them? Do we stick them in a barge and send them out to space? Do we put them on a ship and get them stuck in the Suez Canal? Do we what do we do with them? Where do they go? How do we handle them? And the answer always seems to be, I guess, prison. But
let's call that what it is, the slave trade.
Right, exactly. And that clearly doesn't work. It works for privatized prison systems, but it definitely doesn't rehabilitate anyone. It doesn't help the people at all.
Wait, you're saying that being kept in a cage where you're given no social skills and not treated as a human, but you get to make license plates and potentially get raped semi-often. You're saying that doesn't make people better?
Right.
I thought that was rehabilitation. It's free labor for as many years as we can justify it for.
And it's like, so where do we go? Like, what's the solution? How do you, short of becoming savages ourselves, right? How do you deal with these people? Where does it happen? Not to segue to anything else. I guess that's always where my mind comes back around to is what's the fix? What's the solution? What's the cheat code? What's the thing that's going to derail it? Aside from us all yelling on the internet in our platforms about it,
Well, I mean, that's clearly doing the most, Every time I yell at someone on the internet, laws get passed. I think, you were talking earlier about, the fundamental flaws in our system. And you said, you're not saying that we should just burn it all down. And I'm not saying we should just burn it all down. But I do believe that the most major flaws in our system occur at a foundational level.
Like they're baked in, like you were saying. Were saying last week, yeah.
Institutionalized racism is baked into the foundation of our system. So is sexism. So is gender inequality. So is wealth inequality. So is the practice of tiny secret groups meeting and deciding our futures behind closed doors and breaking laws to get done what they want to get done.
Yep. So is honestly, can we just talk about how weird it is that Zuckerberg and Bezos and Gates and several others all kind of look the same and are weird, skinny, plain clothes wearing Lex Luthor looking people? It's just what is that? How does that happen? Were they destined to be like that? Is it in their DNA? Were they groomed to be that way? How do people end up arriving at these avenues that are very similar? It's very bizarre to me.
If you've ever noticed this, but I've noticed this is that particularly Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, there is a direct proportionality between their wealth and how much they look like a penis. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's rigidity. It's straight rigidity. It's just stiffness. It's male stiff tightness.
It's if you look at Jeff Bezos, in the beginning, the beginning of his career, he was, this kind of just skinny, dweeby guy.
That's neurotic.
Yeah, but then he just like
and then he anamorphed into Howie Mandel. It's like it's so weird.
I mean, but like he surpassed even Howie Mandel. Like, he became Howie Mandel, but then somehow like his just head continued to get shinier and
veinier.
And then he got veinier, you know, like he's all ripped and veiny now. He looks like a big hard dick. He does. And then, you know, and then Mark Zuckerberg, I feel like he keeps every time he updates his haircut, it's just more and more like a little helmet.
Yeah.
You know, he's the uncircumcised version of Zuckerberg, which doesn't make any sense because his last name is Zuckerberg. But you know, he's a reformed Jay.
Sorry, that was a tangent.
I want to jump to another funny story. This is ridiculous. We were setting up for the show and I looked down and I saw this headline. It said, "Group apologizes for playing Gangnam Style at Utah Stop Asian Hate event." And I was like, oh, I got to see what this is about. Oh man, did I already lose that story? Right, because I had to like reset my computer. Hold on, I'm gonna copy and paste this into Google.
I mean, that's just it's so obnoxious. It's so obnoxiously tone deaf. You know.
Yep.
Tone deaf is a real
is an
nice
understatement.
word.
Yeah, no, I tone. Yeah, it's just
like
fucking
the nicest
racist.
way to say it.
It's just blatantly racist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Well. Yeah. This is the little blurb about it, right? By KUTV. An organization is apologizing for hosting a poorly thought out, says that in quotes, Stop Asian Hate event at an insensitive location where the 2012
They were having a
Gangnam
bad
Style
day.
was
Yeah.
played. The Dance for Revolution group. Seriously. Dance for Revolution.
Really? They're like 3 letters away from Konami like suing. It's like,
my
wow.
God, like they're like, hey, what's all the stuff that were there Pokemon there too? Like,
Right,
did you just
right.
like throw everything Asian you could think of in there.
Right.
They're like,
right.
hey, we decided to play 2 girls, 1 cup during the event because
Hosted
Asian,
by
right?
Jackie
You guys
Chan.
really like this. We had a showing of Crazy Rich Asians and put on some Bruce Lee movies. Like how. It's so insulting. They do the same stuff to us. They do the same stuff to black people. It's always just like, come on, bro. The Dance for Revolution group held the event on Sunday in South Salt Lake at the Chinatown supermarket.
Utah is something else. Utah just
Yep.
last year, well, they just did something that I it's slipping my mind at the moment, but last year they literally had a poll that people voted on for or against slavery, and it was like 60% for. Like that was an actual thing on a ballot. Are you for slavery? And it got voted yes. Like
60% for.
Yeah, like just
Good
like
Lord.
Utah. I just ugh. If you're anybody but white and Christian, please move out of Utah. Please save yourself. Like I don't know, go somewhere. Go to San Francisco, go to Atlanta. Like don't stay in Utah. Please save yourself. Move out of there.
There's a teenager that games with my roommate and I sometimes. Yeah, I guess he found my roommate online and befriended him. He's like a 16-year-old kid and he lives in Utah. And he's a weird one. He seems real repressed for a 16-year-old. I was like,
Utah still does the thing where like the beer that they sell in most stores there is modified specifically for Utah to have less alcohol.
Yes,
like,
to have less alcohol.
Right, because that's totally going to just, no one will get drunk now. Everything's fine. No alcoholism ever again,
Right,
but it does take a significant amount more fluid to consume to actually get the buzz that you want.
Which is which is totally why, if you've ever known an alcoholic who was a liquor drinker and seen them go, oh, I'm blacking out too much on liquor, I got to switch to beer. It totally makes it better, right? They don't just drink more and get fatter and stinkier.
Right.
Or no, wait, yeah, that's totally what happens. Yeah, that was an SLC Punk quote too, wasn't it?
Yeah. He explains all of that.
You got an alcoholic who's fat and gross.
Yeah. That's still a thing though. Utah. We have a friend who joins us in streams pretty often, and I really feel for him. He just came out, not to his parents, but he just came out on the internet within the last 6 months, but has been having to state his stay with his parents throughout the pandemic because of money and things like that. And they are trying to force him to go to conversion therapy, which is horrible. And extremely traumatizing. And I'm just like, every time I talk to him, I just give him like this virtual hug. I'm just like, dude, I care about you. Please, when you're able, like, stop playing Final Fantasy 14 and make sure you're doing something that's making you money so that you can get the fuck out of there.
Right.
Don't listen to your parents. Like, they're not on your side. Like, no, stop. Just leave. Just get out of there,
Yeah, man.
Run for the hills.
But yeah, wow, Gangnam Style, like, oh my gosh.
Come on, man. You clearly had not one Asian person in the meetings for that. You know, they clearly weren't part of the conversation. They would have been like, yeah, maybe don't play Gangnam Style. Like, that's probably going to rub people the wrong way a little bit. That's
yeah. Also just on a petty level, it's just kind of like, really? You mean that song from 12 fucking years ago? Like, yeah, you're so hip. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's how you can tell, is like when they do something racist, and then the thing they choose that they think is cool is like so behind the times anyway, even beyond the racism.
Yep.
You know?
So there's, I don't know if you know this podcast, Herb. Jason and I talk about it a lot. Called Bad Friends. It's Andy Santino and Bobby Lee.
Oh my God. So I can't believe you brought that up, because they did a whole thing where they interviewed this woman.
I want to be ninja.
I want to chop chow down, take chow down to Chinatown. I want to be ninja.
Oh my God. That was like
so bad.
I don't even, it was like hilariously horrid. Like just like so
horrific.
Far beyond horrible. And she went awful with it. She doubled down. She was like, well, next thing you know, I won't be able to make a Hispanic voice when I want to make fun of someone Mexican. And it's like yes, exactly. That's exactly what you can't do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Jason, to fill you in, this woman, and I think it was in Utah too. It was either in like Utah or Arizona.
Yeah. No, it was Utah. Yeah,
it was Utah. So yeah, even better, right? I bet she planned this thing. She's like, well, I really want to play my "I Want to Be Ninja" song, but I bet Gangnam Style will work better.
Right.
Which, to be fair, that is better than "I Want to Be Ninja." It's not even "I want to be a ninja." It's just "I want to be ninja." It's
right.
Bad.
Even in the language of it, it's coded to be like English. So oh my God,
so bad. And she's a terrible singer too. But Jason, so this woman, I guess she's like a speaker or something, or I forget what it was.
She's like a YouTube comedian. But I think she hopped on that "I'm a comedian" real quick before anybody called her racist. Because you can say it if you're a comedian, right?
That's right.
She basically she did like a promo event for Murphy beds, like the beds that come out of the wall. And,
right, that's right.
And at the thing, she was like, so I watched the Bad Friends thing, and she was like, well, I had this whole YouTube series. It was going to be this, it was going to be that, and somehow she convinced the Asian gentleman on Bad Friends to be like, well, I can see where you're coming from. And the white guy's like, no, dude, no, this is white trickery. Like, I know white people because I'm white. This is bullshit. Do not sanction her.
Well, and also what Bobby Lee was clearly doing was just like, oh, yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it. And they hung up, and he was like, what a bitch.
Right.
So isn't Bobby Lee is Bobby Lee the one in Bad Friends?
Bad Friends, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard he's got a bad rap in the comedy scene.
He's a broken person.
Okay.
For sure.
Aren't we all?
For sure.
All right.
No, he's a very neurotic guy. And I don't know that I'd say he has a bad rap in the comedy scene.
Somebody was calling him out for not making a stance about something like a couple years ago.
Joe Rogan called him out. Joe Rogan confronted him about not confronting and not being honest and speaking out about Carlos Mencia.
That's right. That's right. It's the Mencia thing, right? Well,
and Bobby kind of admitted that, I mean, I'm like protecting my career. I don't want to be like seen as the guy who's got problems with people. And he's definitely. I mean, he's said about himself, he can be a little opportunistic, and he's got his issues. But what I also hear about Bobby is that the people who know him say that he's a genuinely generous and well-meaning person. He's just broken. Yeah. So, you know.
But yeah, I found that the whole
good stuff sometimes.
I Want to Be Ninja was just like, she really doesn't get it. She really thinks that that's okay because she has some Asian friends, and so it's cool to like do that.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think she didn't want to deal with the implications of her having done something blatantly pretty insulting and more than vaguely racist.
Yeah.
I think she didn't want to accept that for herself. I think she didn't want to be seen or heard accepting that and admitting to it. So she did what her folks do in those situations as they tried to explain it away. And I'm saying that because people do that to me in conversation, just in private conversation. We're going, hey man, you know, that thing you said, or this thing you're championing, or this person you're supporting, you know, from my perspective, here's how that feels or how that looks. Well, I'm just doing this. Well, I should be able to, if I want to, you can't silence me from it. And it's just the whole, by that point, they're not even thinking consciously. They're just in a reflexive defense stance.
Right.
Just, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. I'm not wrong. That's what. That's all she was doing. I'm not wrong. You're wrong. Which just indicates to me that, you know, hey, I just want to do what's comfortable and I don't want to learn. And I believe that my convenience is more important than other people's well-being.
There's a point in the video where I feel so bad for her, but the Asian lady in the crowd with her, there's a point like 3 minutes in where she flips her off.
I almost a ninja.
Very, very, very subtly, you know, and like, you know, it's not, she doesn't like put it out there, but she kind of like, you can see in her hand, she's just like, fuck this lady. And then, and the white lady's reasoning, I can't remember her name now.
So, well, she was fine.
I'm going to have to go watch this.
No. Her reasoning was, well, she didn't even speak English, so she didn't understand what was
right.
It was like,
right. But then she said, she's like, but then later on, you know, she understands it now and she loves the song.
Right. She plays it on her CD player. Yeah.
No, she just grits her teeth and smiles at you because you have control over her future.
Yes. Exactly. That's the thing, is like, there wouldn't be so much deflection and sort of like, I'm not wrong, you're wrong, if the president right now was an Asian lady. If the president was an Asian lady, I think a lot of white folks would kind of like shut the fuck up, because...
You think so?
Well, it's sort of like a pack mentality, you know. Like, I think if, put it this way, when your entire lineage, when your whole history of your country is looking up at the top of it and seeing a white man, if that were to suddenly change, like it did with Obama for a while, but if that were to suddenly change, especially to a woman, obviously a lot of people would fight back, and those are horrible racist people. I think a lot of other people that are kind of like not openly racist but covertly racist, they would immediately snap to like, oh, well, we have to respect the president, whoever it is, you know. Oh, I was with them all the time, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? They would like totally back out of it and be like, well, you know, they're our leader now, so I guess we should do. You know, it's.
I hear what you're saying. I tell me. I get the logic, but it's okay. At one point, you said, you know, like things changed with Obama. They didn't though.
They didn't
because if you remember, them same people who were okay, they were quiet out on the streets. They might not have been, you know, going up to people in person and saying some of the wild stuff to say to people now. Yeah. But you know, they were posting pictures of him hung.
Yes,
true.
They were posting pictures of him with a crack pipe in his mouth. They were talking about how he lives on welfare. They said that he was from another country, that he was a secret Muslim.
Oh my God, the birth certificate thing. Oh my God,
right? All that stuff. It was all founded in racism. So no, honestly, I think if an Asian woman were president, they'd just be extra mad at Asian women and blaming her for everything that's going wrong.
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be people that like double down. But then I think there are other people who just don't have a backbone either way. And so when like, let's say there was an Asian president, an Asian woman president, I think all of the sudden people that were too afraid to like say some shit now definitely don't say some shit. You know what I mean? But they're still thinking it, and they're still perpetuating it, and they're still teaching their children it. Right. Their actions speak. You know what I mean?
I was saying earlier. You pull off the hood, and you've got another hood. You know,
right? It's just a little bit of
these
quieter
layers of hoods that just fucking white supremacy. You just keep pulling off and pulling. It's just layers and layers and layers of racism. It's
right. You thought the hood outside was white. That was just eggshell.
Yeah, that's
right.
You got.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, absolutely. Like, I totally agree with you there. And I'm sorry if it came off that way, but no, you're absolutely right. Some people will absolutely double down and get even more violent and even extra.
Yep.
I just feel like there's like the very, very obvious, prejudice and racist folk, and then there's like the very conniving, very under the table, very subconscious racist folks who really believe that they are fine or just cover it up real quick, like this lady with the "I want to be ninja." It's very hard to suss out, and it's kind of like it's really, like you said, it's all baked in. We have to completely have a new recipe. We have to like clean the entire kitchen and start a new recipe in order for any fundamental change to happen.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a biochemical element to this too. The part of the brain that they can measure it. It's the amygdala usually that is swollen or enlarged when people are experiencing lots of fear. So they've got this biochemical feedback happening, and then it's supported externally by their community and socially, and it's just they live in a place of really intense fear. And it's kind of a psychedelic experience in my estimation, that they're not really connecting with reality. They're kind of living in this echo chamber of fear and denial, and it just feeds itself, and it just gets more enraged, and then it outbursts, and you're like, you even show them logic and they can't see it because they're just so fucking caught up in their own story.
Yeah, I think people are counting on that. Jason, you and I had a conversation once where I was talking about that I think people are perpetuating and even engineering that fear response.
Yes,
because it's one of the most predictable motivators.
Yes.
When someone's scared, I can tell you almost to a T what they're going to do next, because they're just responding to the fear. They're now in reptilian brain.
Yep.
There's a limited number of responses, limited types of responses. And as long as I can keep them in the cycle of being afraid and enraged, I can just keep them in a tiny little loop.
That's right.
You're just going to do these 3-4 things over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And all I got to do is just keep hitting that button. Mm-hmm. Just keep hitting the fear button.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's true.
And then you set up a little system where they hit the button themselves.
Yeah.
And then they just go around hitting each other's buttons.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of what happened, right? Like, that's kind of the theme of, I think, our conversation here. Like, the kind of full summation of it is that this fear response is being engineered all over the place, and it doesn't even have to be like directly engineered by people anymore, right? It's being engineered by algorithms.
Oh yeah.
In conjunction with, this new version of celebrity culture that tells us, hey, everybody can be rich and famous.
Clicks.
Yeah, it's all about clicks. So all you got to do is hit that button the hardest, the loudest, and the most often.
Mm-hmm. Hit that,
and then
button.
you can be an important, pretty person.
Right.
So we're all roaches that have taken the bait, and we're passing the food to everybody around us and in our communities, and it's infecting literally everybody, everybody in our culture. Now, I'm not free of it. I had to work hard to take myself out of that mental state, and to like remove myself from specifically those social media interactions, and then to start weeding out the tricky language that is part of those exchanges, the boiled down one word that means 1,000 things that people argue back and forth. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, like, I could be like, stop mansplaining, or like, you cuck, or you're this and that. The issue with the way you're approaching this subject is that when you boil everything down to it, like, I'd rather take the time to just explain, but we're being manipulated away from that right now.
Yeah.
And people profit big on that. Just like how every time there is a mass shooting recently, every time there's a mass shooting and we have this big debate about gun control, who wins? Gun companies.
Gun companies. Yeah.
Yep, because everybody gets scared and goes out and buys a bunch of guns.
Yep. On all sides, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
and it's like, many people just already have a ton, and are already like their minds are not changing regardless of the law. Like they're people who are already on that path to having this like arsenal probably already have it and are going to do whatever regardless of the law, are going to do like nothing's going to change their mind. Aside from, I guess, some kind of gigantic rebellion brute force situation, but that's just not that realistic, with just the way everything works nowadays and the way that we're all just tired and broke. It's like, it's just, it's not going to be a Civil War Part 2.
No.
The world of that happening in the way that it did in the past is kind of over.
Yep. It's all happening online.
It's all happening online. Yep. It online, and then randomly some white people go out with a gun.
Yeah, and also at
right.
Chinatown markets and
flare ups. They're like little flare ups. I hate to condense it down, but like it's kind of, they're just like like somebody tries to do something. It's not really a full force thought about coordinated thing. It's just like a fucking one off.
Well, but so there's another way.
Shit.
There's another way to look at that, though. if you think about it, right, is that you could make the case that there is already a civil war happening, but it's only really being waged by one side, and it's being waged as guerrilla warfare.
Oh yeah. So, well, the other side's cancel culture.
Right.
Cancel culture.
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
No, that's the trope used against liberals for not supporting these fucking maniacs anymore.
Right? They're like, I can say whatever. How dare you cancel me? And it's like, dude, you're getting consequences for what you do.
Yeah.
When you jump in the pool, you're gonna get wet. Isn't
this that free market system y'all wanted? Y'all wanted the consumer to like not support your business if we don't like the way y'all act. Well, here's what's up.
Yeah.
I would say that if cancel culture is being, I do think it's being weaponized. It's another one of these issues that I feel like there's both common takes of it, miss part of it, right? Like the term cancel culture is being way abused by the right, but it's also happening on the left, right? So it's like there's a lot of things being called cancel culture, but it's like, no, that's just fairness.
Yes.
Like that's just you did a thing and you did it in the public eye and people responded to it. And now, as a result, you don't have your platform, you don't have your job.
But both sides are guilty of even the actual cancel culture thing. That is like a legit cancel culture argument. Both sides are participating.
Look what they're trying to do to Lil Nas X.
Yeah,
right. And that's the thing is they equate young black queer dude doing what he wants in a video. That's his video for his fans and nobody else. They equate that with the same thing as them being able to say something hateful freely and openly and not be criticized for it or not be condemned for it, because to them, something gay and or black is as evil as
Satan,
as racism being quieted. They put it on the same level, and it's not.
This is why we need to be allowed to be racist, because obviously, we all know all these blacks are queer, and we all know all queers are Satan worshipers, and we know Satan worshipers have sex with children, so that's why we got to kill them all.
And then eat them.
Right. The classic response is I posted, I was talking about it before we started, but Folks Health has been posting billboards all over I-95 that say trans lives are precious, which I absolutely agree with. And of course, the second I posted it, I got a comment saying, "No, they're not. That's my opinion. I don't come here with it. It's not welcome. Okay. Peace. Cancel." And many other people are saying things like, well, why do they get to be precious? Aren't we all precious? It's like, be precious. But 360 of them got shot in the last year just for being trans, not for having an opinion, not for driving a certain kind of car, not for liking the Cowboys versus the Dolphins, but specifically just for existing.
Well, this is that all lives matter shit. Right? Yeah. Which is, we say Black Lives Matter, they go, well, all lives matter.
And that's still that's still a rhetoric. It's still happening constantly.
Well, they have this. It's old rhetoric. It just came back as a response to Black Lives Matter. Yeah. I used to hear it all the time growing up. Well, if you think about it, isn't the fact that there's a black entertainment television a little racist? Because well, how would you feel if there was a white entertainment television? I'm like, there is. It's called television.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. It's the.
And I'll be honest with you, BET is white entertainment television too at this point.
Right, because they're kind of still trying to get a large group of white people watching it.
Maybe, but more
Like, is
more
that their
because
customer,
more
actually?
because half the content on BET feels more like a minstrel show than actual black art.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Bullseye.
What I mean is they represent us in the lowest, most stereotypical, dumbest possible light they can.
I got you.
Right. When people say, "Oh, you don't talk black," what they're thinking is, "Oh, you don't talk like those people on BET."
Right.
You sound
You know what I mean?
sound too academic
Right.
and intelligent to be black.
Right.
Because intelligence and scholarship are white things, and you shouldn't have access to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's mad is they said that to us so much that a lot of us believed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much. And while listening to Missy Elliott, while wearing, black clothing, while wearing, while taking
All wearing
everything from the
FUBU,
culture,
right? Yeah.
right. While skimming everything off of black culture and using it, but everything but the black part. You know what I mean? It's like the black part is the evil part, right? But but we can take everything else from it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then those same people are like, don't understand. Well, I don't understand all this talk about cultural appropriation. That's just how culture happens, right? And it's like, well, okay, look at somebody like what's her name? Her dad was on Lil Nas X's song.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Right. Miley Cyrus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So no one gave a damn about Miley Cyrus until she was pretending to rap and shaking her lack of ass in front of cameras. In the most tasteless, hoish way she possibly can. Which fine.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Be hoish. That's fine. Hoes need love too.
Not slut shaming around here.
But the point was that she associated her rap identity with every negative black stereotype about black people.
Yeah,
she embodied all of those stereotypes as a way of authenticating herself as part of the hip hop culture.
Right. It's white guys thinking that they're going to use like Eminem as their like rap idol, and that validates them for acting and sounding and doing all the black stuff and incorporating black culture in, right? Because they imitate Eminem and that's their in or something.
I mean, whatever. I'm not one to be like, oh, yo, you can't rock your cap to the side because you're white. Like, whatever. Same thing with like the white people with dreads argument. I mean, definitely, it's a case by case basis.
Let me ask you another question.
Definitely
about
somewhere
this.
I'm like, could you just take that shit out your head?
Somebody.
Here's what. Let me get to this first.
Yeah.
Here's
I have to get going here
what is
pretty soon too. I'm getting a little behind on something. Anyway.
I was just gonna say that where it becomes an issue, and this is why a lot of black people get upset about white folks with dreads. Is it's like, okay, but like that's not like the way that you can wear your hair long. You just decided to do that because you think it's cool. And when you're ready to re-assimilate into society, you can just cut all that shit off, and then all those black signifiers are gone. So, Miley Cyrus did the same thing. Is all of a sudden she turned around one day and criticized the black community for being sexist and violent and vulgar. I'm like, bitch, you were sexist, violent, and vulgar against your own self. Like, what? Yeah. And then she's like, oh, well, I'm done with all that now, and I'm white again now. Now that I figured out I can make more money from those people now that I'm a little bit older, and now the adults want to see me sing.
Yeah, she put it back on the shelf. Yeah.
So it's, that's where it's like, well, I can't take off my blackness. I can't make my hair grow a different way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Right. That's like earlier we were saying like it doesn't like you were talking about like your mix, your percentage, it doesn't matter. You still present black, so people are going to treat you black. Mm-hmm. It's the same way. No matter what space I walk into, I present straight. I mean, I'd have to put on a fucking dress to not present straight. I guess it's just the way my voice is. It's just the way I learn. I grew up with skaters and hip hop kids. Right. I dress like a skater. I have shirts and shorts. I mean, like I don't know what else to be. That's just me. But I can't. People are going to see me straight no matter what. No matter what. Even in gay spaces, they're going to see me straight. That's just it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just to sort of like. To speak on that positively, I guess, is that the only way that we're going to be able to accept each other and to fucking do something to work with each other is we have to accept that every single person is multitudes.
Yeah.
You are Damian. You are not just black.
It helps to see other people that look like us acting somewhere differently. It actually gives some of us permission to maybe participate in a different way. Oh, well, this guy's actually presenting similar to me, but wow, he's gay. Okay. I think maybe it's okay to express myself that way because I see a little bit of myself in them or something.
I've totally had people come up to me at events and been like, I'm so glad you're here because this event flags really straight to me. But knowing that you're here with your arcade doing your thing, I know now that I can bring my whole gay posse and we're going to be fine. No one's going to like hate crime us because you're here. So we feel safe. And that's like, it almost makes you cry. Like that is so powerful just to hear like, you know, that I'm some kind of beacon at the very least.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all ever go through that kind of thing, but it's important to be a beacon. You know, we can't just like, we can't retreat to the woods and live alone.
Dude, I have shared live on live streams some of my own personal sexual explorations and discovering new things. And I've made myself vulnerable and I've put it out there. And I've had an amazing amount of messages and support from people who are like, hey, I saw how you and Melissa like worked out this thing in your relationship, or I saw how you tried this new thing and your approach, and I felt like I had permission now to go and do that and try that, and I got a really great response from it, and it worked out, and I'm so happy you did that. Thank you. That meant the world to me. Yeah. To feel like me just displaying something about my expression, about my path, and being vulnerable led to someone else being able to, that was a good positive experience. So yeah, I have had that experience and it feels really good.
Cool.
I've had a similar one, almost kind of opposite as you heard, but not really. I look at it as similar where, and we kind of talked about this, but where I don't present as what people think of as a straight cis male.
Right.
And I mean, and internally, or if you ask me, I would say, well, no, I'm not. I'm something. I don't know. I'm something else. Like it's cis. I mean, I guess like you could say that. I've decided to to stay with my male anatomy and identity, but like as far as how I express and how I present, I mean, definitely, it's definitely like a question. I remember I was working at Psycho Stitches one time, and this black gay guy came in there and he was beautiful. He had his all makeup done and the eyebrows were up and his hair was just, awesome outfit on. And this guy was lingering next to my desk for about an hour. And he finally like leaned in and was like, are you gay? Are you bi? Are you straight? Or yeah, I said, I'm taken.
That's beautiful. That's great.
And I love it. And he was like, and he said, he's like, well, whatever you are, boo boo, the thing you're doing is working. He's like, you got it going on. So, best to you. And he was really cool about it. But I've had that same kind of like from either other, straight men or heteroflexible men, or even from gay men. I've had, and from lesbian women too, honestly, just like, hey, it's a relief that there is a straight guy who doesn't conform to all of those, all of those markers or all of those things. Like, it's awesome that you can feel comfortable to express both the masculine and feminine sides and be open and just be whatever you are in the moment. And that doesn't, that you can kind of toe the line like that. And
I mean, none of us start off in boxes. We get put in them, and then we get sort of bamboozled into believing that they are actually there. Yeah. And then we make a lot of mistakes. We all do it. We make a lot of mistakes where we self-perpetuate those boxes on us. Oh, yeah. And only to later realize, or sometimes not, that oh my God, I straightened myself, or wow, I put myself in the gay box, and now there's this expectation that now I need to do these things because I'm in that box.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's important to remember that like we're not born in boxes. We're born in hospitals where they cut off part of your dick and they tell you you're a woman or a man from the beginning. That's what we're born as.
They refused to do that where I was born, because I was born in West Germany during the Cold War, and they don't. Yeah. We don't do that. We don't do that Jew shit here.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
it happened to me too. Melissa and I had our baby right behind me on that couch. And nice. in this room, and for a lot of those motivators that we wanted to give our baby just like a different start than what the norm is right now, because it's not It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So hey guys, before we get off on any more tangents, I
feel like we could talk for like 5 hours.
we really could.
Yeah.
This has been an awesome conversation. I love talking to both of you. I really do.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go too. Lucas is about to stream. We're having like a 1 year anniversary for one of our nights. So
hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna stream after that, we might have to just raid your channel, dude.
all right, cool.
Yeah, well, I think
Hop over.
I don't know if we're hosting you guys automatically, but I'll set that up here in a little while.
Yeah, like once we go live, then you can hit it. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Or
thank you for having me.
At least if we've hopped off by then, which may happen, I'll just get on and watch.
For sure.
And encourage people to go, send links and stuff. But what I wanted to do was just, hey, anybody in chat. I know you guys have been chatting. We're usually a little more attentive to responding to the chat, but we've had such an awesome guest that we've been enraptured in conversation. So does anybody have in the chat here any questions, comments, any stories that were piquing your interest? I know it's about a 30-second delay, so
And if
I'm
you haven't
not
hit
going
that,
to make the mistake of just being silent while I wait for an answer this time.
go hit the follow button. In the meantime,
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
right. Yeah, please. So yeah, let's do some of this stuff, please.
We haven't hit affiliate yet. We're working for it.
We're working on that affiliate status.
Yep.
Definitely. Please follow. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please leave a rating and review. And I think that's all the little plugs that I have to do. Also, follow us on our socials.
I was going to say I'm Gamemaster Herb pretty much everywhere. Me and my husband's run a thing called 3 Bears Gaming. It's the number 3 Bears Gaming with a Y. You gave me such a great intro earlier, so thank you for that. But yeah, we gaming and art stuff and DJs and mental health chats and community nights and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of it's an exhausting list of games at this point, but we do have a lot of fun, and we're still. We are still in quarantine. We have been this whole time. I know a lot of people are not, but we're still going strong. I mean, there's not in gaming. There is a growing voice for LGBTQIA folks, but it's not nearly as loud as everyone else. So,
Yes.
I and we strive to like make that spot. And I really appreciate y'all having me. I love bullshitting about stuff. I love talking about stuff. I love going on tangents. I love that you let me go on tangents. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the insight as well. I love that. I love that we can come together and find common ground. And I think it really says a lot that while we may not feel the exact precise way, we are absolutely on the same side.
Absolutely.
Like if we're talking about sides, we're definitely on the same side. And to what we said earlier, we kind of have to like focus on, hey, we want things to get better for people that have historically not had it good at all.
Right.
So,
Yes.
if anybody out there listening, like if you feel that way too, then we're already on the same page. That's it. It's as simple as that,
Yep.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I would extend that to, people with different political affiliations. I know people who have grown up Republican or are libertarian, and we can disagree on how to get the thing done all day long.
right?
But that doesn't mean that we can't find a way and a place to work together and support each other. There's a way. We just have to want it. We have to want that more than we want to be right, more than we want to mic drop, more than we want to insult that other person on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Oh, no.
Right, more than the shade and the tea. Yep. Yeah, otherwise everybody just gets shot. Otherwise, literally everyone just gets shot.
Everybody,
you know what I mean? It's like,
everybody gets shot to the soundtrack of Gangnam Style.
right.
I'm sorry, that was dark.
That's a good
I
that's a good
mean,
ender.
Yeah. All right.
Ties it all up with a nice little bow.
So let's see. Yeah, we wrote 3 Bears Gaming in the chat, so you guys can see that.
Thank you.
Mom said, "Great conversation, you guys. Glad I got to hang out today. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for hanging out."
Hey, Mom, you're here. How's that?
Oh, she's always lurking in the background, you know. I might not always call her out, but she's usually there. Jay Osart, that's a buddy of mine. He said, this was awesome, man. Just glad to finally catch a live. Dude, Ricky, thank you, buddy. It was good to have you on, man. I'm glad you stopped by. And I'm sure I'll see you later on games. And yeah, I might stream later. I might stream gaming later, but I might not because I'm tired.
yeah, y'all get some rest if you need it. You know, we can't be SJWs 24/7. We can't fight every second. You have to rest.
Yep, that's it.
Oh no, Nas said I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. But he was in that New York state of mind, you know.
Yeah, he was on the grind for sure. He has a song, and Nas has a song with Lil Nas X, which I found amazing. I'm like, this has to happen at some point, right? And then it did.
and like, yo, okay, like black folks that are hip hop heads. I know for
Round
some
two.
of you, this is a hard pill to swallow. And don't get mad. This is coming from me. This ain't coming from them. This is me saying this. They're still going to get mad. But like, that should be, look, man, if Nas is on board, Nas used to say some homophobic shit in the old days. Cause that's just what it was. That was how people talked, you know. He said he never switches his style up like a which, you know, clever line for 1992. If Nas is in it, hard ass New York, you know, lived on the streets.
Right. Beef with Jay-Z, Nas. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like, I mean, you know, like, yeah, exactly. Beef with Jay-Z, Nas. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, like that's how big he is. Like literally beef with like the biggest rapper ever, you know.
But not even just big or like, you know, having beef or whatever, but one of the like most like gutter, hardcore, dark, I'm pro-black, you know, people to do it ever. Look, if he can get over it, and support this young brother who is trying to open people's minds and honestly is just a young black man out getting money. Hey, we should support him. Mm-hmm. We should support him. That's what I think.
Same. All right, y'all. We gotta get set up. But thank you for having me. Go. Thank you so much. I would love to join you again sometime.
Absolutely.
Please get some good rest.
Will do.
Peace out for now.
Yeah,
Herb.
man. Thanks, Herb.
Take it easy, buddy. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right. And then there were two. But I had to get running too. Getting pretty hungry.
Yeah.
This was good. That was really amazing.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Oh, yeah.
He was great.
Absolutely.
He was really great.
Yeah, great ideas, great perspective. He's very obviously up to date on all these topics. And yeah.
I see. So he's so smart, man. You know, this is probably one of the most extended conversations I've ever gotten to have with him, but he's one of those people where, you know, you sit in his presence for a few minutes and immediately his intellect just jumps out at you. You're like, oh, I'm talking to a smart person right now.
It doesn't feel intimidating, though. It feels approachable. It feels like, oh, I can hear what he's saying. Totally. Because I think he's just presenting it as, you know, like this is my understanding and it's here's why. And it doesn't seem like it's trying to like force on you or change you or anything necessarily. It doesn't seem intimidating.
It's not monolithic.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a judgmental person. Mm-hmm. I just love everything about that guy and his partners too. I haven't met one. Well, no, I've met them all, but I haven't really spoken to one of them. But Lucas is the other one.
Yep.
And he's another just beautiful soul. So I'm just really happy for those guys and for them to do what they do. And it's cool, man. I think you said you do follow them, but yeah. We should one day go live and just go hang out
for sure.
Room.
Yeah, I'm gonna after I make some dinner, I'm gonna check out their live stream later tonight.
Yeah,
Three Bears Gaming sounds like fun.
Yeah, Three Bears Gaming. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. That's it for me.
Yeah, so we'll sign off from here. And anyway.
All right. Yeah, this has been the Light Roast. I'm your host, Damian Turner.
Jason Jones.
And this has been great, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
As always.
Yep. All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
Bye. Yeah, man. I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.